Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. The REMINGTOM pod is live. We are a little off our normal schedule. We had some technical difficulties trying to fire up yesterday and just weren't able to get the live stream to get going. So, shout out to those that joined us for the lost tapes, but we get going again tonight. And our punishment is we just have to watch baseball, chat. It is what it is. The home run derby. Oh, man. No, I didn't even know the home run derby was on tonight. I mean, again, not a baseball fan. But the All-Star, who would have thought that we'd be sitting here in July, a non-baseball fan, going, the All-Star weekend, baseball season's flying by, Chad. Who knew? But the NBA season has kind of stretched out to this point, so, the schedule's really dragged out to the point where, I mean, I feel like the NBA is honestly, the NBA is kind of bringing baseball back, Chad, a little bit. I feel like people haven't been totally satisfied with the product so far. I mean, some of the star player thing. Maybe that's just what it is. Are people just looking for stars? They're willing to gravitate to whatever sport produces the stars. I don't know if baseball is quite caught up to the NBA in that level. We were looking at the ratings numbers. Like basketball still may have better stars than baseball. You could argue that I guess the NBA has the best stars of the sports as well too, that basketball does. There's a visibility with the stars that is definitely very helpful, but of course the regional factor of basketball or baseball and how rooted it is in just the areas and in the certain cities and different things like that. Not that basketball isn't in certain cities as well, of course, but just the roots of baseball run a little bit deeper. So it does feel like that kind of is balancing it out a little bit enough at this point where, I mean, again, the ratings themselves for these big finals games are equal. So I don't, again, the day-to-days, the TV contracts, like it plays out in different ways. I mean, I was going to say the individual player contract as well too, but I don't think the baseball guys are necessarily complaining about their deals. I mean, the NFL guys are over here. I mean, the ESPN side headline thing is full of juicy headlines. I mean, we got Bridgewater suspended from his high school coaching job. Snoop Dogg helped Swansea troll Wrexham. Snoop Dogg getting into the soccer game. But, I mean, Garrett Wilson, it says Garrett Wilson lands a $130 million extension. I don't even know if that's a lot of money anymore. The Rays sell for $1.7 billion. I was about to be like, that was a baseball contract right there. No, that's selling the team, the Tampa Bay Rays. Hey, small market team. But shout out. But 130 is like Miles Turner level, and I get, the comparisons can of course be made, but it just kind of warps your brain a little bit. 32.5. Now I'm getting back into NFL mind. It's a little pricey. I get, Justin Fields is not the most expensive quarterback in the world. There's some other cost-cutting players in the books, but he is now a top 5 highest paid wide receiver in the league, top 6 highest paid wide receiver in the league. Basically, in the mix with A.J. Brown there as well, too. I don't know if they just cut A.J. Brown off of this list. I guess for those listening, Jamar Chase, Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, Garrett Wilson now, and then A.J. Brown. That's 40 to 32 million in the year per pay, the average annual salary. So I don't know if they have A.J. Brown cut off because that's the last, $32 million guy, or they just wanted to show the range that Wilson was in there. But yeah, I mean, I would be one of the guys that you would say be worth it. But the other reason that we're interested in the home run derby is because I saw this nickname on here. This guy's name is the Big Dumper. Whoa! I mean, I didn't even know if that was allowed. The FCC Airways haven't gotten involved yet. This guy's nickname, the Big Dumper, is a little crazy. I don't know if we start. I don't even know. Can we use this in the NBA chat? The Big Dumper. Man, we'd start calling Alex Starr the Big Dumper after going 0-15 the other night. I'm not sure, but I don't know what his odds are for the home run derby as well, too. They just announced the lineup for the event, so not that it's going to matter that we would know, but if we look at the odds, then maybe the names, they ring a bell, chat, when you put a little plus 195 next to it, 2-1. Now all of a sudden, I didn't see any. I guess I did see a Yankees guy, but I can't remember if they cut to him. I think they cut to Judge in the crowd, or was it Stanton? I think it was Judge. I don't think they are cutting to Stanton at this point. Is Stanton even playing? Let's see. Both leading MVP candidates both candidates in the league show off their bats in the All-Star game. Is that a baseball term, or is that because aren't they doing some sort of custom baseball bat thing now? I don't know if I'm crazy for thinking that, but I feel or they were going to. I don't know. Maybe that's a MLB The Show thing. But hit a home run, World Series. The Dodgers are way up there, but for the actual home run derby itself, are the odds locked this close? Oh, here we go. First round, the home run derby. Oh, the big dumper, Chet. He's in the lead right now for the odds. He's got the best odds. Cal Raleigh. Cal. I don't know if the Cal R kind of makes baseball fans think of a little Cal Ripken as well too. I'm kind of if I'm just like kind of glancing around the room and I just see a Cal R on the FanDuel, I'm like, well, I guess I gotta vote for that. But I don't know. Make no mistake, I could not necessarily compare their games. I don't think Cal Ripken was a home run derby guy. I get that's a different type of thing than being like a home run guy. It's a 3-point contest guy versus a guy that could just have a perimeter game, obviously. But I don't know if that was necessarily how he played. But DM us at REMINGTOM Pod if I'm wrong, Chad. Hey yo, let us know. Let us know if Carl Ripken, or I guess, was it Cal Ripken? Cal Ripken Jr. Carl? Is there a Carl Ripken? I mean, I feel like, wasn't there a couple Ripkens? Maybe. But Byron Buxton from the, wait, what team we got? Oh, the Twins. Hey, yo, I was like, I know I've heard that name. I feel like he may have bounced around a couple of the home state, or he may have been in the home state, like feeder league for the Twins at one point. So he might be kind of a name in the area. But James Wood, top 3. O'Neal Cruz from the Pirates is our guy. De La Cruz. Was it Ellie De La Cruz? La De La Cruz? I hope I got his name right. But he's our guy. Make no mistake, Chet. It's about the best we can do for knowing baseball players. Junior Chet. Hey, yo. Our guy Junior. And then Jazz Chisholm at 16-1. Is Jazz Chisholm like a veteran or something? Why is he looking a little Pascal Siakam-y, Chat? I don't know if he is. I don't know why he's being so disrespected in the odds. We got 9-1 as the next lowest, plus 950, I guess. And then Chisholm basically doubles that. So let's see here. I mean, a name like Jazz Chisholm? No, Chat, 5 years? So how do you get in this field and then just be so far behind the field? From the Yankees? Does it look like? Oh, Chad, are we going to be rooting for? Oh, I guess so, yeah. Are we going to be rooting for a Yankees guy? This guy at 16-1? Hey, yo. It is what it is when you don't know anything about baseball. It's the home run derby, Chad. Are we taking the biggest swing? Oh, IT, cancel us now. Cut that out. Put a better joke. Get ChatGPT to put a better joke in there. But, yeah, I don't know. All-Star. This year, All-Star before as well, too. Batting average 250. I don't know. Is that who was our guy that we were looking at? Cruz. Where was Cruz at as well too? Oh, Buxton, our guy Buxton as well. Oh, let's get the FanDuel reset. O'Neal. Okay, our guy O'Neal Cruz. Let's look up his stats and see what they almost similar draft classes as well. No All-Stars for our guy O'Neal Cruz. So just a little bit. Batting average, I guess we're looking at the career number, quick glance, but 240 for his batting average for his career. He had a 333 his rookie year, but I guess he didn't really appear that much as well too. But Chisholm this year alone is 250, and then so right in line with his career average as well. I mean, pretty consistent across their careers, as you would guess. But I get the last 2 years and then kind of a dip this year for O'Neal Cruz. Oh, what's stolen base? Stolen bases? Does that get you in the home run derby? He leads the league in stolen bases. Do they need to have like a skills challenge in baseball where they kind of like hit off a tee and then steal a base and then try to throw a ball across to like third base while diving into a ball pit or something? I don't know what the baseball skill challenge is more difficult. I mean, I don't know even what the rest of the events are for baseball as well too. The home run derby is the only one that you could think of right away to just have like an obvious most entertaining event. Because for basketball, I mean, again, you at least the skill, or at least the 3-point contest and the dunk contest feel like legitimate. I mean, the skills contests can be fun, if it's competitive and people are trying, whatever. But that does feel a little, it feels a little forced. It feels a little gimmicky. They're definitely trying a little bit too much at times to make that entertaining. But just the natural element of the game of 3-point shooting, just the dunking as an athleticism as a natural part of the game, and then competing at the highest level of those, like it works. Like for baseball, again, there's not how many of those different elements can you showcase in that type of way. And I guess, don't they have like they have their celebrity. I guess the NBA's got their celebrity game, baseball's got their celebrity game. So maybe the home run derby just takes between all the rounds. They can draw it out long enough to be like an all-star weekend. Wait, how long do they get on on the time slot, chat, for the home run derby? Let's see. Okay, so they got 2 hours, segmented it out for the home run derby. And to be honest, if All-Star Weekend was 2 hours, if All-Star Saturday Night was 2 hours, it's probably for the better. It is, honestly, All-Star Weekend's probably pretty good if it's just the 3-point contest and the dunk contest, and they really, focus crazy on those two events. It's still a really entertaining weekend. And I mean, maybe you just need the warm-up event anyways. So, why not have a skills challenge? Why not have a couple NBA guys running out there, through an obstacle course, whatever. But again, just the high level, it never feels like it gets that competitive. That's the problem. And as much as you try to mix up the order of the teams, and now we're doing a time up clock, or we'll time you, or now we'll set the timer for the first team and then we'll time down for the rest of you. However you want to try to rig the feeling for competitiveness, you can't necessarily get the thing. Because that's the fun thing about the home run derby. It is more similar, I think, to the 3-point contest, obviously. But the approach to it, where the dunk contest, I mean, the highs of the dunk contest is obviously probably the most entertaining event. But if it doesn't quite have the competitors that you need, then you may not get that great of an event. But the 3-point contest just kind of gets naturally competitive anyways, and there's just again a natural momentum thing that can build for a guy over the course of him taking his turn. Pause. But the home run derby, I think, kind of has a similar thing as well too, where you can obviously walk through it a little bit, but the idea that you can kind of get in the building of momentum, I guess, is the main thing, because you do have that in the dunk contest in a way, and there is a crowd building thing that can happen, and or you get like a Vince Carter thing, and then it's just right away it's like, oh man, this is incredible. But the momentum that can build in a 3-point contest is a little bit more replicable, I guess, of a game in a way, maybe. But either way, it gets still those highest levels of a 3-point contest can be right up there with the dunk contest for entertainment value as well too. But now we got to be locked in on our guy Jazz Chisholm as well. I feel like we're kind of cheering for half the field at this point, so it's going to be difficult for us. O'Neal Cruz is already going down in the odds, chat. Hey, it is what it is. The big dumper, I feel like I don't know. Can I cheer for I don't know if I can cheer for a guy whose nickname is the Big Dumper, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if that's against the Remins. I don't know if we have that in REMINGTOM policy written down somewhere, but I feel like I'm violating some rules at this point. Is that on his page as well too? I think they have the nicknames on the page. Let's see what we have. Cal. Yeah, Ripken Jr., shout out. But our guy Cal, Raleigh, I don't know, is just ESPN just wiling out on the headline? Is there something I'm missing? A platinum glove? Whoa! Hey, yo, the Big Dumper's got a platinum glove? Chat, this is too much. I can't handle this. I think YouTube's already taken us down. Pronounced rhymes with jolly. Oh, nicknames, there we go, the Big Dumper. Whoa! Click for all ball player nicknames. Oh, I don't know if there's a list of people with nicknames also nicknamed the Big Dumper. That'd be a little crazy. This is kind of a... Oh, chat, we can really get lost in this page. Casper the Friendly Ghost? El Chavo? Well, we don't know what year was this guy playing in. Jumbo Pepsi. Whoa, Jumbo Pepsi is kind of an elite nickname. I don't know. Matt Adams? I don't really know what that has to do with Matt Adams' game or anything. But Jumbo Pepsi is just a fun one. Just because it's, again, it has nothing to do with the name, but... And sometimes that helps as well, too. But for some reason, it just works. It's pretty original. Butcher Boy? Whoa, the Golden Greek! Hey, yo! Whoa, baseball reference. I don't know. We might have to take that one down, Chad. I don't know. The Golden, though? I feel like... Is that save it? I guess Jimmy... I don't even know Jimmy's last name, Chad. I feel like, is that his last name? His nickname? You know, shout out. But... this just is like a country name. But... Dorf? Chief? Bump? Whoa, Bump Akers, chat. How did Bump Akers get his nickname? Hey, yo, Big Salt's pretty... Big Salt's kind of fun as well, too. We might need to steal that one for the NBA. Is there a Big Salt in the NBA? I don't know. Walker Kessler, chat? The Big Salt? We might... I don't know if it just has to be a certain type of player or not. But, yeah, who knew? I don't know if the basketball reference is laid out that well. But he's a Caleb, chat. So he's not even a cow. He's posing as a cow this whole time. Wait, so is Cal Ripken Jr. Caleb Ripken Jr.? Is that actually his full name? I didn't know he had a full name. Oh, Calvin. Okay, that actually makes sense. Calvin Edwin Ripken Jr. Hey, yo, he's dropping bars in his name, chat. Iron Man or Rip? Shout out. But he, of course, was... Let's see. Oh, Silver Slugger. Is that an actual batting... Am I an idiot? Is that a hitting award? Or is that just like a Golden Glove, some MVPs, Golden Glove, and Silver Slugger in the same year as well. What do we got here? Total bases? Okay, singles, doubles, and triples, and home runs. All added up together. AL. Who would have thought? But, yeah, never, like, led in home runs or anything like that. I guess his career high, his season high, 34 for home runs. So, I don't know, what's the threshold? Like a 40 home run threshold? Like, what's... Hey, yo, comparing him to Judge? Chad, just batting stats is all we're comparing. Not saying anything crazy. But Judge has some 50s. He has a 62 in there in 2022 as well. 58 last year. 35 this year. I guess he is kind of going crazy. Does it say it's not bolded because he's not leading, or because the season's not over? Oh, it is. I guess bolded in the stats that he is leading. So somebody else is even going crazier in the home runs. Maybe it is the big... Wait, was the Big Dumper leading in home runs? Or shout out to Cal Ripken Jr. He might still be playing, honestly, at this point. Wait, where'd the Big Dumper go? If we just search the Big Dumper, will we get Cal Raleigh? Let's see. Oh, wait. How do you even... Hey, I don't know how to spell this, chat. Big Dumper? Whoa. Definitely too much. Oh, no results. Okay. It is what it is. Good thing for basketball reference. Or baseball reference. That would be a little too crazy, honestly. But, Big Dumper, 1M, chat. Hey, yo. I guess maybe we need to... Do we need to be in more situations where we're typing out the Big Dumper? Hey, yo, I don't know, chat. We'll just have to see. We'll report back and let you know how it goes. Okay, he is leading in home runs. 38. So, Judge is right there as well, too. Wait, is Wood still going? Hey, whoa. Hey, yo. Speaking of the Big Dumper, James Wood. Hey, yo. Baseball, what's going on with the names here, chat? Baseball, they're like, let's get a little spice in the sport. Try to bring in a different audience. So that would explain then. Yeah, of course, it's going to take a second for this thing to work out. Oh, Chisholm is a little bit near the end. And Raleigh is near the end. And Olsen is the final one. our guy Cruz, batting in the middle. So it really is just all the guys we're cheering for, just right in a row. Cruz, Buxton, Chisholm, Raleigh, Olsen. Chad. I guess it doesn't really matter who wins. Just bet a little bit on everybody. If everybody's plus odds, do we win money either way? I don't think that's how the math works out. But I guess it just depends on who wins, obviously. But shout out to the home run derby. We'll definitely be keeping an eye as well too. So shout out to Summer League. I guess we'll just have to pass on Summer League, Chad. Only 2 TVs in the background. It is what it is. Well, I don't think we're gonna go out and grab a 3rd TV for Summer League, but maybe if there was a different occasion, then it obviously would be warranted. But when we did have our technical difficulties the other night, we were, of course, fresh off the release of the new Travis Scott albums, which we were trying to listen to a little bit, and I mean, obviously, I just listened to anyways. Listened to it this morning at the gym. So shout out, a good push of music here to get us through the rest of the summer, at least from a mainstream way as well too. I know the underground has definitely been doing their thing, at least in the hip hop scene, for sure. But in terms of some of the mainstream stuff, we got that Clips album this past weekend, and then I had Travis Scott literally responds on one of the bars. Pushin' T's, I think, was one of the bars that was going on there. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll see how that beef heats up, I guess. Especially after Travis Scott, might win this Rap Madness bracket at this point. I don't know if you guys have been following that, but he just eliminated Kendrick Lamar, according to the fan vote. So, and he's facing Playboi Carti in the final, which is kind of interesting because this album, at least to me anyway, sounded a little bit like he was playing with some of those sounds a little bit than some of the other psychedelic stuff that Travis has been playing with as well too. Because I guess it's not necessarily a long walk. I mean, Travis was obviously featured on this last album as well too. I mean, I guess we could go through and look at Playboi Carti's songs with Travis as well too. For some reason, I'm not thinking of any. Fiend, obviously. Okay, there we go. But I guess, are we adults here, chat? Are we bumping Fiend all the time? It is what it is. Again, we're grown-ups. We're playing, Hyenas off the track list or something. Is Hyenas the track that grown-ups play, but Fiend's the track the kids play? Or people would say Meltdown's the track the grown-ups play. I don't know. But Meltdown, I don't know if that one is also, for the kids. But again, it's not crazy for them to overlap anyway. So I guess for Travis to veer sonically a little bit more over there, it's not, like we're saying, that far of a walk. But it did start to sound a little bit more that type of way. But it was really good as well too. And can we pull up the track list here as well? Maybe we just play this real quick and see, and do like a what do we want in our playlist? Because the opening track, I guess, technically track 2, but the opening track was really felt like more traditional Travis. But I guess either way, Travis has always been a guy that has been changing up and evolving his sound a little bit. What do you say, evolving his sound? But he's, I guess, evolving his production is probably a better way to say it. It's felt like he's definitely continued to level up his game in each of his albums, even if you would maybe even go back in his catalog and say like, oh yeah, Astro World, or even Rodeo, or even Days Before Rodeo is his best produced album. You can go, okay, there's definite progressions and definite mixing, definite things that he's adding in and getting better at, and feels like each album is giving you a little bit of a different experience. So he does continue to do that on this album as well too, which is great to see from Travis. And again, the production on this one, sorry Chad, we're firing the album back up. We may have to hit the mute real quick. We're not going to try the bots to take us down, but let's see. Oh, there. And I mean, you get Waka Flocka on a song as well too. How is it not a win? Bring Waka Flocka back for summer 2025. Let's go, Chad. Yeah, the way they bring the beat back, and I mean, this is that Travis beat switch, the psychedelic, but then we're gonna hit it a little bit with some of the trap stuff, and it's gonna go a little bit hard. Which, again, with some of the stuff that he was doing, continued throughout the album. So, well, I guess I am saying that, it felt like, I guess I should say at times, it felt like he was mixing it up into that Cardi stuff. Because even on the songs that I'm thinking of, I am not gonna remember it right off the top. I scroll back through the track list here, but there was definitely a couple of songs in the middle. Maybe Dumbo. Let me try Dumbo real quick. I get that's more. Yeah, definitely this one. But I feel like if I remember, yeah, he does bring the beat back a little bit. And again, it's still that Travis stuff, but you're getting of that Cardi sound with the way that Travis would, I guess, produce that sound. So again, in evolving your sound, I really, really like what he did here. But I will say that this did really, I guess, solidify in a way the status of Jackboys 2 or the OG Jackboys as the iconic project that it is, because it does feel it's not underrated in a way, because you look at some of the streaming numbers, you're like, oh yeah, people obviously are crazy listening to this album. In Highest in the Room, I guess it's like the remix version is on there, but that song as well too is obviously a crazy popular song, but it doesn't really get talked about when you're talking about Travis projects or really any of the guys involved as well too, because while again as a collective are really strong, it's not like they are a group in that way. I mean, again, they're constantly working together. They're all label mates and all the different stuff, but it's not like it's not like we're Jack Boys is outcasts. Like they're working in that way, and we're necessarily it's not like they're in the conversation as a group in hip hop. But maybe that's just the fact that they've only had the one project at this point, and it's like, okay, are they going to release another project? So I don't know. With the fact that we get this project, the fact that it is a full length project, and the fact that it is again really really good as well too. I don't know if they start to get into that, and not that they need in that conversation as a collective, because individually as well too, they're all really crazy talented. So just if they're gonna be in a collective together, the individual talent of them alone is it's gonna carry the name value of it anyways. But the original project, it is a little bit shorter, but it does, I mean, a little bit, it's only like 7 songs, really 6 tracks, 20 some minutes, but somehow it does feel like it is a little bit more diverse than this track list in a way. And the high points of that are still, even going back into that that little bit of the end of the last decade Travis Scott sound, where you're right off of Astroworld with that 2019 release. It just, I guess I still kind of favor that production anyways as well too. But you did get some of the crazy like trap cuts. You get a Pop Smoke song on there. There's a Young Thug feature. Is that out west? Am I blanking on what the title of that is? But that song obviously goes a little bit crazy as well too. And then you're still able to get some of the cuts as well, and get the Don Toliver vocal performances, and still feel like you get a whole range of types of songs, even if it's in a shorter track list. So that was another thing with this album that I was a little interested on, and I guess maybe in a revisit I could always change my mind, but I did feel like maybe they underused, or it felt like Don Toliver wasn't properly used. I need to re-listen to this No Comment song, because this is a Don Toliver solo track as well too. Okay, I do remember listening to this one. This one is good. This one is good. But again, the track list is expanded as well too. So I'm not gonna, if we get a great Don Toliver, so I'm not gonna be upset. But there is obviously the chance for him to be a little bit more center stage throughout the album as well too. I guess I'm just a big Don Toliver fan in 2025. So our boy needs more shots. The boy needs his own team. Yeah, I know Florida Flow with Kodak Black on the end, the outro track is a nice chill vibe as well too. Some of the ones with the features obviously stood out a little bit more just from listening in the background a little bit. But I do like I said, I appreciate Travis always mixing up his production, always going for a little bit more. And the production is really great on this album. And to be honest, the more I bump this album, the more I'm gonna get, the more I'm gonna fall in love with it as well too. Because again, it's like a movie with just actors that you love. It's like, okay, at the end of the day, this album is Travis and Don Toliver and the Cactus Jack guys, and it's gonna be fun. So there's gonna be just great replay value and revisiting new music from those artists. But I do feel like they also got a little bit more out of the features on the last album. Again, they got a little bit. They were getting features at a little bit of a different time as well too. You're getting the Pop Smoke verses when R.I.P. our guy, but he was already entering the peak of his powers at that time as well too, or at least was just already so crazy good on some of that trap stuff that is just awesome. But you're getting Quavo and Offset as well too on that, and like we said, Young Thug as well. 2019, any version of Young Thug, but 2019 Young Thug as well too. Even Lil Baby is on the Highest in the Room remix in this track list as well too in 2019. So yeah, you get Quavo and Offset on Had Enough, Young Thug, Out West, Don Toliver, Travis Scott, What to Do, and then Pop Smoke on Gotti on the last track of that one. And again, it's not necessarily fair to compare it to a great project like this as well. But that was like I'm saying, it was like, oh yeah, this is a iconic project too. But this is gonna be great for summer of 2025 as well. So shout out to Travis for, of course, dropping new music. It's been a little bit of a second. That first Jackboys is off of that Astroworld 2018 release. 2019, he's back with new music. It's been at least a couple of years since Utopia at this point, since he's released his last project. So just the idea of new Travis music as well too is really great. And Don Toliver had a project last year, but it's been a year. So let's get Don Toliver back on a project as well too. Like I'm saying, I'm definitely a fan of that. And you're getting 21 Savage on this album as well. The Future track, Future was on a couple of tracks. Was he not, or was he just on the one? I guess he was just on the one. Huh. But either way, really good. I guess Cardi is on this one as well too. But I do remember hearing the Future feature this morning, and it's like, ooh, our guy Future is going off. Really kind of and this was kind of a like funky sort of like international type sample feeling to it, but yeah, Future's flow on this was really fun. And you are getting a little bit more, a normal Playboy, like you're getting a great use, and I would say a Playboy Cardi on this track, where, he's definitely in like, so you're getting his rhythm on the hook, and it's really, I think, appropriate for that, but he's not going like crazy Playboy Cardi as well too. It's definitely a little bit more toned down. Yeah, and the Travis track comes in. I'm gonna have to go back and I'm judging the full track. Again, this is what happens with these albums. I understand now. My own listening habits better with each time these get released, especially with these major artists. Like I'm saying, that where I've already have a sort of predetermined love for their music, anyways. So the idea, again, like Some Sexy Songs for You is a perfect example of this as well, where you could listen to is this a 20 song? 17 songs, so. It's not quite the, it's not Drake producing this album. It would have been like, okay, put every song from the sessions on here. But, even the, an album like that, you listen to it start to finish, you're like, okay, is this a classic project start to finish, yada, yada, yada. And I'm doing it with like, oh, Jackboys 2, is this the Travis Scott classic album? But at the end of the day, the great songs that are on this album are great new songs, like I'm saying, by artists that I really enjoy, really love. And if I have enough of those great songs, the project is totally worth it. You know, how many great songs do I need? And that just depends on the artist as well too. You know, some artists, the at least again for me personally, the bar is different because like, okay, the amount of songs in my playlist anyways is a little bit lower. So if I have like 3 songs off an album, I may only, you know, just rotation wise, he may be only getting like 3 songs play. You know, and there's a valuable DJ space in the, I guess the, you know, anybody's Spotify playlist at this point. But the like you know, a new song with Future, Playboi Carti, and Travis Scott that's got great production on it and good flows back and forth between all of them. Even if it's like, okay, you know, the couple of tracks around it maybe are not in the playlist as well too. At the end of the day, if there's like 7 songs off of this track list that I'm really enjoying, it's gonna be one of the more enjoyed projects of the year because again, it's Travis, it's new Future, it's new Playboi Carti. So that one's gonna be a fun one to bump around. And you know, again, we're right off this Clips album as well too, which did feel like a little bit of a classic-y album. And, you know, you never want to say too much. You don't want to overhype. You don't want to necessarily... Because it's impossible to say in the moment as well, too. You don't know what time is going to... You don't know how time is necessarily going to treat a project. But it's like, okay, you're getting an incredibly perfect produced album from start to finish. Perfect bars, perfect features, you know, perfect conciseness, curation from everybody involved. Like, it really does feel like a special project. So, and you know, these guys are beefing as well too. I don't know if Pusha T, he wins the beef chat. The album is better. But you know, I might be listening to this. I might just listen to this album more. And I have been bumping the Pusha T album a lot. And again, they got the Kendrick feature, so that's going to be one that I want to listen to a new Kendrick verse. I'm going to be bumping the new Clips album because that's where it's at. But the idea of, again, Travis versus Pusha T, am I kind of reflecting a little bit of, you know, the basic listener habits as well too? But it is what it is. It's what the numbers say. So I may just end up listening, even if I can understand and admit the quality and maybe somehow enjoy the great production on some of these songs as well too. You know, Ace Trumpet's the single that they dropped before the album is a single that I've been bumping a lot. And even if I can admit and is like totally like, yes, this song is a better song, I may just be bumping this Travis Future Playboi Carti song more. Just because like, oh, well, you know what? I just kind of like bumping Future when I'm driving around. So I'm just be playing Future. It is what it is. So again, this project clears the replay value threshold that you need. And I don't want to say that disparagingly. I think both things can be, I think both projects can be considered great projects, even if they are, end up operating in different lanes critically and doing different things, you know, functioning differently in the playlist in the rotation as well too. But this is yeah, I guess I've talked myself into being even more fun Travis Scott project that I did this morning. But like I said, yeah, I always appreciate him mixing up the production, doing new things. It's a new sound, still familiar characters that you love, and a couple of new cuts is always going to be a great thing to add to the rotation. So this is going to be, like I said, fun for summer 2025. So now we got JID in August, I think, is the next, you know, I guess that's the next like big release. I don't know if I'm missing one in between there. But yeah, things just got interesting now, chat, for the hip hop year of 2025. We got another, you know, the critical acclaim album, but also I feel like an album that's going to do well on some of the, that Kendrick feature is definitely going to help as well too. And that's such a great track. It's such a menacing track, and such a great use of the sound that the Clips and Push T really work with. But it does feel like a song that can be used a little bit, maybe more than some of the Clip songs in the past have, with the way that the production can be, you know, the minimalist stuff, especially with, you know, working with Pharrell as well too. And I guess, you know, Pusha T and the Clips work with Pharrell more so than just, you know, like Pusha T and some of the solo catalogs as well. But Yeah, I guess the other reason that we have to try to fire up a live stream 2 nights in a row, even though we have technical difficulties, is because we're sitting at the time of year, at the time of the decade, at the time of history. I guess it's really only one time in history, which again, why it's so important, why we have to try to remember these moments. There's only one time in history that there will be a 35th anniversary for 1990's hit movie Ghost, starring Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore, just too important, Chad. Too important to be left off the Rem and Sam, wall of things that are awesome, because just things that we like to talk about. Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze, Ghost, 1990. It is a classic, chat. It's a classic still 35 years later, and we are going to watch along to it here tonight to remember that anniversary. So let's take a quick break to fire up this movie, chat, and get the Paramount Pluses ready if you want to follow along, and we will be back to remember this movie 35 years later, chat. Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, don't go anywhere. All right, chat. We are back, and our guy Ryan. I was gonna say Ryan O'Neal. O'Neal Cruz is up at the plate at his turn at the home run derby. He's in a timeout. I guess I forgot you just get a timeout halfway through the turn at swing. I guess it is a little bit even more timed out. This, like, we were comparing it to 3-point contest. A little bit more timed out than the 3-point contest with just the amount of swing that you do. It is pause. It is a little bit more tax. You might need a little timeout in the middle there. But this whole time, I'm not going to lie, I was cheering for him because I was thinking that he was on the Padres playing with our guy Tatis. But the Pirates, it did just sink in. That's the Pittsburgh Pirates, not the San Diego Padre Pirates, whoever we thought that team was. Because they said that, his teammate Paul Skeens is really cheering for him. And I was like, oh, okay, different team. So shout out, Paul Skeens. Maybe some connections we would root for O'Neal Cruz. But if he was on the he's not a Padres guy as well too. So apparently now we're just rooting for our guy Jazz Chisholm at this point, 16-1. He is a Yankees player, but it is what it is, chat. The value lies where it lies. So the value tonight is also in this great piece of movie history, the 1990 classic Ghost. We're firing it up right now, chat. It is loading. Oh, it will be playing shortly after this Dexter ad. So, 2025 Ghost. It takes a couple of seconds in a Dexter ad before we can watch Patrick Swayze in Demi Moore, Young and in Love. And, of course, 1990 is... the 1990s is probably the best. You could argue 70s, I guess maybe even what's the best movie decade? 30s maybe even, if you really want to put the list together. But the 90s, especially for the movies that are getting rewatched today, do have a special place as the decade. You could go through any year of the 90s and just be like, hey, there's a case that each of this year is just the greatest movie year in history ever. Look at all these amazing movies that dropped this year. But the 1990 movie year is pretty crazy. And just to get Ghost and Goodfellas in the same year is basically enough to have it locked into the greatest movie case of all time. Because you think of the replay value and the setting value of those two movies that you could watch. Hey, O'Neal Cruz just went on a run here to end his turn. I don't know if he's going to make it into the next round. Oh, he did go up the leaderboard. So shout out. He does have a chance. But, anyways, just the replay value that you could play those two movies alone, where Goodfellas, it's like any sort of, just bros, just hanging out, or, any sort of situation. You're like, let's throw on Goodfellas. It's going to work. Ghost, you get Patrick Swayze, you get Demi Moore. It's the perfect cast of the guy, girl, both people love the people in the movie type cast. Watching a movie with Patrick Swayze is cool, but it's also, it's also a sexy movie. It's also a fun, sort of entertaining, again, funny movie in a way. It's a sweet movie. He can do some action-y stuff in there as well. So this movie definitely it probably checks. You could say that Goodfellas checks the boxes as well. There's it's a comedy. There's, love and drama and hate and all the different stuff in the mix for that story. But this one is, of course, iconic in a different way. And listening back to the Rewatchables episode that they did on Ghost, they had talked about the best date movies, and they had mentioned 3 of them. They said Dirty Dancing, When Harry Met Sally, and Ghost, which, again, Ghost 1990 is the newest release of those 3 movies. And I was trying to think if, those 3 movies are the first 3, the first 3 movies on the Mount Rushmore of date movies. What's the next one? And just in general as well, too, if you're going through it, there isn't really anything since then that could upset, could, but really needs to upset any of those 3 as well, too. And again, Ghost is right there as well. It's been 35 years. There hasn't been another rom-com type movie like this that has necessarily supplanted it for the rewatchability, the quality, the cast, and also, again, the originality of the storyline. And I don't think that just goes to again, the rom-com element of it, that goes to the just the movie element of it in general as well too, where, and I've been thinking about this, with Sinners and stuff, rewatching Sinners a lot as of late, and another movie, rewatching Runaway Jury lately as well. It's like, okay, what are these, like, the really fun, original one of one stories, and Ghost and Sinners is a little like this, where like vampires is not necessarily the most, if you say that, you're like, okay, what's the original take on vampires? But the rest of the concept of the movie is great. It's like, okay, Ghost, it's in the title. It doesn't seem like the idea of just somebody being a ghost. Like, something about that feels a little bit repetitive in a way. But the way that this movie was done, and maybe it's also, has anybody felt the need to live up to this movie? Maybe the fact that this movie hasn't been sort of redone in that way speaks to the quality of what they were able to do with their take of it. But the again, just the mechanics of the ghosting and the way it plays into the story haven't really been done. And I guess I was thinking, like, maybe because that Black Mirror episode, is it Demon 79? It's titled the Red Mirror episode, but that one is the actor in that, she doesn't become a ghost originally. Maybe, I don't remember exactly. I need to go back and rewatch that. But she has a little bit of kind of operate. There's a guy there that's like a ghost, and there's a little, it's like, again, there is a way that's been done before, but that still is not in the same lane of this as well too. And as much as we gotta respect Patrick Swayze, of course, R.I.P. the legend. What's the guy's name? Carl? I forget this guy's name. Is Carl his name in the movie or his real actor name? Let me look it up here. But of course, we open with just a iconic remodel shot. But Carl just going, ayo, 6-pack for 6-pack with Patrick Swayze to start. Like, some real favorable, of course, contrast, shadowing, lighting. Really doing our guys a solid here to open it up. Pause. Whoa. But he does kind of look more ripped than Patrick. Tony Goldwyn. Yeah, Carl Brunner is his name in the movie. So he does kind of look more ripped than Patrick Swayze initially. And he does get shirtless later in the movie as well, too. I mean, as spoiler alert, we should say as well, too, if you haven't seen it, and if you're following along, and if you're first time watching it or whatever, spoiler alert for 1990s Ghost featuring Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. Oh, Carl, cover your mouth when you're coughing in the elevator. It is what it is. But the coffee spill, shirtless scene later, different lighting setup for sure. The residential interior lighting, but yeah, he's looking pretty crazy there in that opening scene. And it is a little interesting to me that he is Patrick Swayze's boss. I get maybe for the mechanics of the movie, for how he needs to be set up, for how he is, of course, I guess we've already said spoiler warning, but and how he's trying to make sure that Patrick Swayze doesn't find out about some of his moves. Maybe the mechanics of that is he needs to be his boss, but some of that stuff I'm not super clear on as well too. So I don't know if I'm necessarily going to lock in on this to be able to catch it, but I don't know if it necessarily works the other way around. So shout out, he is a little taller, that helps, but anytime the most charismatic guy in the movie is not the boss man, it's usually either an older guy who maybe in his time was the more charismatic guy. Like, I guess 1990s Sean Connery. Well, Sean Connery in The Outsiders, 80s, or The Outsiders, what was The Outsiders? Well, Sean Connery in The Outsiders is a different movie. Sean Connery in The Untouchables is, older face Sean Connery. There's some 1990s Sean Connery could have been, maybe a version of that could have been like a boss type person where you're like, okay, older guy, but makes sense that he's like a boss person over Patrick Swayze. But maybe I missed something in the story as well too, that is like, okay, here's how Carl got the job. Is like Patrick Swayze, he's like trying to like, get life together with Demi Moore as his, great girlfriend and new job, and Carl, his best friend's got upset. But like, I don't know if I missed that part of the story. But I mean, even the swing out the window to just get the little statue in, chat, like he is a little. I mean, that is a nice sort of thing that they do kind of set up. I don't know if that's like an intentional move here, but they do kind of what do you call it? Implement the idea. Is that the right use of that word? They do kind of implement the idea of him being a little bit of a risk taker and a little bit aggressive and that type of stuff. Because Ghost. I mean, spoiler. I guess Patrick Swayze is a ghost in this movie. When he gets into the encounter into the alley in a little bit, the thing that does kind of get him in trouble a little bit is his aggressiveness in the situation. So there, I guess, kind of an unafraid thing as well too with Swayze. It just the whole vibe of like, yeah, he's a tough guy, man's man sort of dude, and swinging out of windows, bringing in statues into the house, and then defending his lady in an alley if they're getting held up. So who knows? To be honest, if Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore have a kid, it's probably Batman, with the way that Patrick Swayze is swinging around to start this movie. But it's also a great time to get them in their careers as well too, Swayze and Demi Moore, because the plot of this movie is, I guess, not necessarily centered around, I guess, them being, I mean, young and in love, of course, is him in the afterlife sort of protecting her and setting everything up afterwards. But I was trying to think about, what if this movie was made like 5 years later in 95, and if it's Demi Moore, and I get there's a lot of their star power, of course, is because of this movie, make no mistake. But if there was like a weird thing, okay, what if they make this movie, I guess, as the stars, but there is a little bit still, and I guess Swayze's always had a little bit of a ruggedness to his look as well too, a ruggedness to his handsomeness for sure, but there is still a youngness vibe that really works for him in this movie here as well too. I mean, I guess Demi Moore at any point in the 90s, you could have just put her in this movie and it would have worked. I mean, she has the iconic haircut, of course, so that's definitely a way to set her apart from just, like Demi Moore just in this role is obvious. But the time at which they get them really works as well too, I think, for the story of this movie, which helps it in that, iconic rewatchable type of way where you just are watching the Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore sort of that peak young AO energy that they're really bringing on screen. And I mean, Patrick Swayze, I guess, is one of those guys that probably is going to just have great chemistry with everybody that he works with, but of course just has great chemistry with Demi Moore. And Demi Moore as well too is one of those actors that just has chemistry with anybody that they work with. Like, I mean, again, sometimes, like, have I watched every Demi Moore movie instead of just some of the popular cuts? But of the popular cuts, there's not really anybody that, and that's just, okay, it goes to her talent and the ability to some of these emotional scenes just to be able to steal the show. But there isn't really anybody that it doesn't feel like she isn't connecting with on screen as well too. Like, she really, like, going back and watching some of the Demi Moore movies, like, she really is one of the best in a relationship type. I guess maybe the again, like, just the feeling committed to the person on screen type person. And again, a lot of it is and especially in this, is because she has to just get so emotional over the loss of, I don't even know Swayze's name in this one. Sam Wheat. That's what his name is. Sam Wheat. Hey, yo, Chad. Sam Wheat? I mean, Wheat is kind of a crazy last name. I'm assuming that this was a book. Like, they say, everything's IP nowadays, but they were just remaking books back in the day. Oh, this might have been a original screenplay as well too. Let's see, best original score, best original screenplay. There we go. So yeah, it is original screenplay. Shout out. They just originally just wrote his name in as Sam Wheat as well. And what's her name Carl Bruner, Molly Jensen is like a pretty normal name. Like Sam Wheat is on like Swayze. This I don't know if this is the one movie that Swayze did that got nominated for the Oscars. Again, I just am thinking mainly of those like 4 or 5 iconic roles. Did The Outsiders get Oscar noms? Hey yo, Chad. I'm trying to remember the Metacritic score if I saw that on IMDb. I don't know if it did. Over the years, it's earned a cult following. So yeah, I don't know if the Oscars would have been in line back in the day. It did get nominated. Francis Ford Coppola was nominated for the Golden Prize at the 13th Moscow International Film Festival, but nothing about Oscars anyways for this movies. I don't think Point Break was necessarily Oscar bait as well too the following year, even though again you got Sam Wheat, you got Patrick Swayze off of an Oscar level movie in Ghost, was not able to bring that same pedigree to Point Break apparently, or To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. I don't think that one got any Oscar nominations as well too. Donnie Darko as well. Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights, the dance musical romance. Oh man, we said Dirty Dancing was iconic. I gotta be honest, I don't even know if I've ever heard of Dirty Dancing. Havana Nights, dance class instructor. He doesn't even have a name in that movie. That's crazy. But and Roadhouse as well too. James Dalton, not necessarily like it is a standout in that way for Swayze, because Swayze might be the to-be MVP, honestly. Swayze is, and I don't know if, again, this movie separates him in that way, because you think about, and maybe it's also Roadhouse and Point Break are unique as action movies, and I guess, Dirty Dancing is an iconic movie, not necessarily an action movie. Some action in that movie, hey, yo. But, Chad, I don't know if you can hear the old Unchained Righteous Brothers, melody in the background. Hey, yo, cover the kid's eyes. It is what it is. We'll do our best to stay focused, stay on topic. To me, Morris, be a little distracting right now. We might just have to watch Byron Buxton hit some home runs and stay focused. But, again, you get these. He's definitely a guy that has been in some of these iconic sort of under the cult classic sort of action movies. Again, with Point Break and with Roadhouse, especially those two. But you get guys like Arnold and Stallone, and I guess Stallone did end up getting the supporting Oscar as well I don't know if he won, but he did get, I think, nominated for his role in Creed. So there was sort of a legacy thing with him kind of worked into it. I would assume that if Arnold had the right role, there would be a legacy nomination for him as well, too. And I guess, again, R.I.P. Swayze, if he would have continued, he would have been in that same type of way. But because of Ghost, he doesn't, or because, I guess what I was saying, I don't know if he's because of Ghost, but he doesn't necessarily feel like that type of actor. He feels like he's in a little bit of a class of his own. But again, the diversity of movies is something that stands out for him as well too, because with those guys that we mentioned, like Arnold and like Stallone and some of those other action stars, there is a little bit of a commitment to what they do best that, makes it awesome as well too. And sometimes it's like, hey, Arnold has a formula and it works, and at the end of the day, all those movies are iconic, and I'm not complaining about the Arnold filmography of movies. But one of the reasons that Swayze does stand out as well too, even in his limited run, is, again, you got Dirty Dancing. It's a dancing movie, iconic sort of, a couple of iconic date night movies with, again, Dirty Dancing and Ghost. I guess he had 2 of the 4 or 2 of the 3 on the list. Hey yo, but I guess if we can get Point Break on the Mount Rushmore, can we make the case for Point Break? And can we make the case for To Wong Fu? Hey yo, but with you got a dance movie, a surfer movie, a ghost movie. Roadhouse is maybe the most one-of-one unique. I guess now it's not with the remake, but one of the most one-of-one unique action movies in general. So there is a variety. It feels like his career spans quite a bit as well too. Because it would have taken Arnold. It would have taken him all these decades to get all those different types of roles. Or even, there's not even another type of action guy I think that is like Swayze. Again, that's like, I mean, that's an aggressive comment, and obviously Swayze is a special talent either way. Keanu, of course, is a little bit of a guy that could maybe be in a rom-com and be in an action movie, but and I guess he's also in Point Break with Swayze as well too. So that's the intersection of the talent right there. And maybe the guys also that could do that haven't quite done the action movie role as well too, because it does feel like, again, action movies are different, of course, nowadays, even now than they are, it seemed like, in the middle 20 the 20 teens and stuff. And like Rebel Ridge is a great sort of just what feels like a lineage. I call it like a lineage action movie. Like, it just feels like it works perfectly into the timeline, but just sort of the tactical sort of action thing, like and I guess Hugh Jackman's honestly more like a theater guy as well too. But what's even his name? Hugh Jackman. I don't even know his real name. Wolverine. Shadow Wolverine. But he hasn't really done like the type of role. Like, he feels like he could be a Swayze type guy a little bit, but he doesn't, outside of Wolverine, I feel like, have the action type, or just I guess the cool type roles. Is that another way to put it? The cool guy role? Is that a new role as well too? I think it might be the cool guy role, because again, it's definitely an action movie. Like the guys that are watching the action movies are going to be gravitating toward Roadhouse, but it's a different type of movie as well. And again, even Ghost crosses into a lot of different. We're going to end up talking about Roadhouse more than Ghost tonight. Where's his filmography at here, chat? Hugh Jackman. Hey, yo. Acting credits. Oh, there we go, chat. And we need to look up the guy that plays the villain as well too. I know they say his name in here, but yeah, see, he's willing to give him the money. He pushes Swayze, karate chops Demi Moore. So that's really where it goes wrong. Patrick Swayze feels like he's got to step in and defend Demi Moore. There's a struggle over the gun. Oh, it almost gets him in the face, chat. Whoa. Ayo, pause. It's Demi Moore screaming for help. There's nobody in this alley. Do they say where this movie is set? I don't know. New York City. Again, this is a real Batman scenario. They found the one alley where nobody is around. And this is, shout out to, who's the director? We got a lot of names to look up here, chat. Jerry? I think his name's Jerry. This is a nice, sneaky piece of filmmaking here, where after the gunshot goes off, again, spoiler, but after the gunshot goes off, after the struggle in the alley, the camera cuts away to the villain chasing or running away, and then you get Swayze sprinting away after him. So you're like, okay, did he just fire the shot and miss? What happens? And then Swayze, of course, going back and seeing the damage done, his body on the floor, realizing that he's I guess, the seamless transition from from death to ghosthood, where you can chase a guy down the street and not realize that you've even died. But it does beg the question of what happens if he does get shot in the face in that moment. Pause. Because there's a couple of close calls. Again, at the end of the day, Swayze doesn't avoid the bullet. So he dies. Even Swayze's dead face is iconic. I don't know if Swayze actually, I'm guessing he actually had to lay there. Swayze's face realizing he's dead is honestly even more iconic. I don't know how that hasn't been memed like crazy, chat. How have we? I think because there's been other scenes in the movie that have been clipped out and replayed more so. But how has the face that he makes when he sees his dead body on the street, where he's how has that not just been cut out and replayed time and time again? It's honestly maybe top 5 movie face of all time. It might be number 1. I mean, back to back, the screams in The Nightmare as well too are pretty great. Maybe Swayze makes a case for just best movie faces. I don't know. Pause. I'm trying to even think who would be in the conversation. I think Leo gets pretty expressive as an actor for sure. And maybe, the thing is, Leo is a different type of talent. I'm not trying to say like, oh, Leo's, we could say, oh, is he a level above Swayze, whatever. He just takes a different approach to the role, where I don't know. He's not gonna. You're not gonna get that face from Leo if he realizes his body's dead. It's gonna be like a oh whoa, like a kind of a more looking around type situation. I think from Leo. Maybe Damon. Maybe Damon is a little Swayze-ish. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I feel like he could kind of be. I mean, he could be Jason Bourne, or he could be maybe a. It's also kind of how his career has progressed as well too. Again, with Swayze, the fun thing about him is you get Ghost and, like we're saying, Point Break in back-to-back years. So you're getting the iconic date movie, and then you're getting, and Roadhouse a couple years before that. So you're getting this iconic, just rom-com, sweet, but also a lot going on type movie, sandwiched with just these real, dude testosterone type movies as well too. I guess Point Break. Shout out Catherine Bigelow, but it's definitely. I think Point Break. I mean, Roadhouse. Again is like a real certain type of crowd. I think Point Break is a little bit more generally iconic than just a movie like Roadhouse. Though I don't know if Roadhouse, because of Swayze. I think any time Swayze is in a movie, there is just going to be an attention to the screen, and maybe that is again why people haven't necessarily attempted these movies. I don't know if there is a sacredcy with the movies that he's in as well too. But I guess they have remade Point Break as well. As they just remade Roadhouse, so that one's out. But they also remade Point Break. But the problem is neither Point Break. Obviously, that remake hasn't really just hit the replay waves in any way. And I don't think the Roadhouse movie, again, I haven't seen it. It didn't sound like people were saying it was a bad movie. But it obviously didn't sound like it was a movie that was like, okay, well, we got to give it to him. Like, let's take the place of the old Roadhouse. Patrick Swayze, go to the bench. It's for the icon, the new icons move over. Conor McGregor is, Gyllenhaal or, this is the new cast. And shout out our guy Jazz Chisholm. I don't think he's gonna win, Chad. He's got one home run through his first almost 10 pitches here. At this point, he just didn't swing at his 9th pitch. It's the home run derby. You've only got 40 pitches in 2 minutes. Like you're gonna test your pitches. You got one. He didn't swing again. Chisholm, what are we doing here? Is this a bit? This might be a bit. But speaking of bits, shout out to the old guy as well too in the hospital. Of course. Swayze at this point is a ghost, so the old guy communicating with him is also a ghost. But this raises another question about ghost. Did I complete the other ghosthood question earlier? The ghosthood question number 1 was what happens if Patrick Swayze gets shot in the face? Pause. Because is this become like a, who's the guy in Sinners that goes out to take a pee and then it just gets lit up with a shotgun by Michael B. Jordan at one point, and then he just has to walk around with the rest of the movie with like his face just split open because it's just like, okay, well, he took a shotgun to the side of his face, but he's also a vampire, so he doesn't die. So does Patrick Swayze have that type of result if he gets gunned down in the face? I guess his shirt doesn't necessarily have any bullet holes or any sort of blood or anything like that on. Oh, Chad, he looked very pleasured when that cart just. Apparently, if a doctor with a patient on a cart just walks right through your body, I'm spitting COVID all over the screen, Chad. Hey yo, apparently if somebody passes through your ghostly body, it's very satisfying. That was a crazy face. Again, just top movie face performance from our guy Swayze in this one. But. What were we saying there? Oh yeah, does he just lose all the movie faces if he gets gunned down in the face? Pause, because then he's just walking around with just a big split open situation. Pause. But again, his other where he did get gunned down at, it didn't seem like there's any damage in the afterlife there, anyways. But again, ghosthood question number 2 is, and again for the unfortunately, Swayze as well too. I mean, we definitely lost him earlier than we should have. But Sam Wheat as well. Sam Wheat had a full life ahead of him, but the old guy was an old ghost. So he lived a full life, make no mistake. But now does he have to live the rest of his ghostly life as an old man ghost? So in a way, does Sam Wheat sort of get the Sam Wheat with the sweet end of the deal? I don't think, again, it's tough. he's just getting life started. They're just moving into the new apartment. Him and Demi Moore are just now sort of feeling like they're getting their feet under each other. Hey, pause. It feels like their life's just now getting comfortable, maybe a little bit. Maybe there's a lot more upside to the situation. They can kind of see where things are going. Again, he's got a great job as well too with his best friend. So the future is bright for him. But now he gets to be the rest of eternity as like prime 1990s Patrick Swayze. I mean, it's incredible. It's really a great win. Like if Demi Moore or what's her name again? Something Jensen in this movie. I don't know. Ayo, we're just stuck on the shout out Hugh Jackman. Ayo, Patrick Swayze in 2025. It is what it is. But if we can get Demi Moore, what is Demi Moore's name in this movie? Ayo, the only name we know is Oda Mae Brown. But Molly Jensen, Molly. I guess Molly. Shout out. But if Molly lives to be like 90 years old and dies a ghost and then goes to join Patrick Swayze in the afterlife, is she joining Patrick Swayze as 90-year-old Molly Jensen? And now, 1990s Patrick Swayze in 2030 Molly Jensen? Or I guess that's only, 30, 40, 2090 Molly Jensen. She lives, I guess she wouldn't live 100 years after this. But, so 2060 Molly Jensen, in 1990 Sam Wheat. Now we're in eternity together. Oh, Chad, it happens again, and Swayze just right when Demi Moore just passes through. Hey, pause. It's I don't know. Patrick Swayze will start posting up in front of people as they walk down hallways. But I mean, is it again a little bit of a win-win for Patrick Swayze, Sam Wheat, where he gets to go into the afterlife at the peak of his powers. And we don't know what the ghost social environment is like afterwards as well too. Cuz again, I guess it is weird some of the ghosts that I guess are walking around still on Earth as well too, because there is that old guy in the hospital. Is that old guy fresh dead? Did they just say that as well? Have I missed that from the movie? Is that old guy, did he just die? So is that why he's still in the hospital? Because there is the other guy as well too that Swayze learns his ghostly powers for him. Spoiler alert, I guess. Which one is it? IT, but he learns his ghostly powers from one of the other ghost guys that's left on Earth. So are they still like waiting to complete an unsolved murder at some point? Or is that just purgatory then? They don't like go in either direction at that point? No demons, no angels going for the old guy or the guy in the train station, apparently. But it's not like there are a ton of the other ghosts around. It's like Patrick Swayze is just bumping into other ghosts in the afterlife. It's not like all of a sudden, he starts, because you would assume as well too a little bit that, human history, chat, like it is what it is. We're not trying to be morbid here, but there might be more people running around when Patrick Swayze gets shot. It's like all of a sudden, wait a second, why are there more people on the street? What happened here? Like, I don't know. Again, I don't know if the people are, being sorted out beforehand. Getting business done quickly. If we could say that, but it does beg the question to wonder why some of these guys are still wandering around and why they haven't been taken to sort of a final destination yet at this point. Is that what Final Destination is about, chat? About getting the rest of the Patrick Swayze ghost characters into one of the places. So he does have sort of early ability to phase through things. He's trying to reach through the wall. He doesn't want to just phase through the wall. He's reaching through the wall. I guess he hasn't quite fully learned those powers yet. But, okay. Is it Willie? Is that his name? Yeah, Willie. Rick Avalos, American stand-up comedian. Remember for his role of Willie Lopez in Ghost. So yeah, what else is he in? He's got one of those faces. You feel like you could have seen that in a lot of movies for sure. Some good television roles. But his last movie role was in 1996. Oh, shout out, chat. R.I.P. our guy. Passed away April 17th, 1995. So, did have an iconic run though. It looks like, and yeah, I mean, isn't it a bunch of movies as well too? Oh, Carlito's Way. Oh, we threw that one on the Tubi the other night and fell asleep. I haven't seen that movie in too long. It's just you stare down that runtime sometimes. It's like I've been trying. I've been a little too strict with the movie rules. Like, okay, they have to be from this year. They have to be with this runtime, and it just has to be with these actors. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we can make an exception for Carlito's Way at some point. So we'll be running that one up. But I think I will have to watch Ocean's 8 next because I haven't seen that movie yet, and I just was like talking about Ocean's 11 with somebody, and then also talking about Rihanna, and I was like, wait a second, why have I seen Ocean's 8 yet? I should probably just watch Ocean's 8. So yeah, I mean, again, that formula. I mean, just go ahead and make an Ocean's 9 with Rihanna in it. Again, anytime Rihanna's in an Ocean's movie, feels like that should be a winning formula. But we get Patrick Swayze communicating with cats, yelling at the cat and scaring him to jump at our guy, Willie Lopez, scratch him in the face. So, unfortunate. Oh, and there we go. Patrick Swayze phasing through a wall. Unfortunate that, the cast of this movie is, a couple of people in this cast are no longer with us. But it is, of course, always great that people can have these type of roles where they can, live on in our lives in these type of way as well too, because again, this is a peak role for him as well too. I don't know the Cannonball Run. Do we need to fire the Cannonball Run up? Burt Reynolds. Yeah, I was gonna say Burt Reynolds. That sounded familiar. Maybe we see what's going on there. Mondo, New York. See what's going on there as well too. But I can't imagine that anything's gonna be better than the iconic role of Willie Lopez. And we haven't even gotten to Whoopi Goldberg yet at this point. He's still chasing around our guy Willie. So I don't, spoiler alert again, I don't know if this is I think Willie gets a couple more scenes. Oh, this is the introduction for our other ghost guy who is Phil Leeds is the name of the emergency ghost. Yeah, this guy is in basically, it was every sitcom from back in the day. I'm trying to, there's an episode of Friends I feel like he's in where Phoebe is claiming to be his, like, the soul of his deceased wife, and he is like, well, I think, she has, what unfinished business could she possibly have outside of, one more night with her husband Phil Leeds. But I mean, Rosemary's Baby, Beaches, All in the Family, Three's a Company, Night Court, Wings, Ally McBeal, Everybody Loves Raymond, The Larry Sanders Show, Barney Miller, Car 54, Where Are You? Whoa. The Patty Duke Show, The Monkees, The Odd Couple, Happy Days, Friends, Roseanne, Mad About You, The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Golden Girls, and Double Rush. I mean, again, I was like, what iconic show wasn't he in? At this, Leave It to Beaver? He wasn't. He might have been an honorary, like, Leave It to Beaver, like his grandparent or something. And we just don't necessarily realize it. But Vincent Schiavelli. I feel like if you just kind of say it like that, that's his last name. It's not really a name. It's more of a sound. Vincent Schiavelli. Whoa, what sound was that? Schiavelli. Shout out to our guy. But yeah, he is just great at lumbering around in this movie as well too. So is still able, of course, to harness his powers, is able to teach our guy Patrick Swayze enough to be able to go forward afterwards. But I guess that does happen in a second, because, well, are we jumping ahead of ourselves? He's still got to chase down our guy Willie Lopez here for a little bit. But this is like we were saying, an iconic side guy role here for our guy Willie Lopez. So I don't think at this point he's necessarily unveiled the plot, but he does have the picture of Demi Moore So we get the Patrick Swayze. It looks like he was breaking a little bit at the end of that "Stay Away from Her" take. I don't know if they had to run that one back a couple of times. It does, again, there is a couple of times where it feels like Patrick Swayze's kind of cracking himself up a little bit. And after Roadhouse and some of those movies, I mean, you imagine he's having a good time. He's just sort of entering the peak of his powers. But I guess, again, to go back to the Oscar thing for this movie as well, too, because it is a Best Picture nominee. So again, with as stacked as 1990 was, and this movie, you're not like, oh yeah, Ghost was the winner in 1990. Oh, Dances with Wolves. Maybe it should have been Ghost. Hey, yo. But you also, again, had Goodfellas that year, Scorsese masterpiece, Godfather 3, and then Awakenings. Total Recall, we watched Die Hard 2, Back to the Future Part 3, Presumed Innocent, Kindergarten Cop, Home Alone, Pretty Woman. You do start to have a couple of sequels in here for sure, with the Back to the Future and with the Die Hard. But at this point, the top 10 is still pretty clean for those type of stuff. And again, I mean, Home Alone at 1990 as well too, and Pretty Woman. I mean, Pretty Woman might be the other iconic date movie, honestly. Have we not had another iconic date movie since 1990? The only other one I could think, well, not the only other one, but again, if we were like, let's actually narrow down the list and think about what's really in competition. The main one I was thinking of was 10 Things I Hate About You. Otherwise, I feel like most stuff you're probably going to end up picking the old classics, at least for me personally. But again, the Home Alone factor just for the year in general, if you have Ghost, if you have that as a Mount Rushmore for the year, a Ghost, Home Alone, Pretty Woman, and Goodfellas. And it's kind of crazy that Goodfellas is not a top 10 box office of 1990. Like, was Goodfellas a 1990 film, or here, wait a second, film year? Yeah, I was gonna say, it is a 1990 film. I was like, wait, was it like an 89 release? But yeah, it was end of September 1990. So I don't know, was that an opening weekend or was that a total box office? I guess with some of the IP numbers being crazy, their opening box offices do resemble some of those numbers when they're at their best, for sure. Goodfellas grossed $6.3 million. Its opening weekend, $5.9 million. It went on to make $46.8 million domestically. Wait a second. So what's Goodfellas at here on the box office number? 47.1 on the box office. Wow. So wait, is Goodfellas considered a tank? Arguably the high point of his career. Yeah, I mean, again, nominated for all the films is one of those things that felt like it, with the way you hear people talk about it, felt like it should have won in the moment, and was awesome, of course, instant classic type stuff. But the fact that it was that lined up with kind of a middling box office is interesting as well too. So I don't know if, again, sort of the violent gangster epic angle of it, people were just not into it. But also De Niro in 90, I guess I don't know where he was at the, but again, this run kind of sets him, that movie I'm assuming sets him back up for a nice 90s run as well. So I guess we don't look back up at his 90s run, because the other one I'm thinking of right off the top, of course, is Casino with Scorsese as well. But yeah, that doesn't make sense, honestly. So either way, the iconicness of this movie, it still goes into the Mount Rushmore of movies from that year specifically. I mean, could go into the Mount Rushmore of movies in general, but is definitely in the conversation for 1990s. So I don't know why the internet page is all of a sudden not loading. Okay, here we go. We are back in action. But that basically covers all your bases, because Home Alone is, and I mean, once we start going into the if you have a Christmas movie that you can introduce into the category, then now you are, of course, on the board in a totally different way, because there's an iconic seasonal thing there that can happen. And I mean, Independence Day as well, like we've mentioned in the past, and Halloween, those years would have to be in consideration for getting the iconic holiday film. Halloween's a holiday, I guess, but the iconic time of year film for sure. But the again, variety where you get the cool guy film, you get the date night film, and you get the holiday film as well too. But even Pretty Woman is one of those other sort of everybody kind of just likes watching that movie. It's got great people. It's got, just great movie stars that everybody wants to watch, and there's great charisma and great performances. But again, the Oscar, if we're going to the Oscar comparison, and if we are going to the Pretty Woman comparison as well too, because I didn't think necessarily to compare those movies, but it is interesting as well. But I mean, Whoopi Goldberg as the third part of the movie, I mean, she wins the Oscar, of course, for Best Supporting Actress, but Pretty Woman doesn't even have that third part as well too. I mean, it does have third characters for sure. I mean, you get the lawyer guy from Seinfeld really making some crazy moves in that movie, but that movie is really Julia Roberts and Richard Gere and just their chemistry, the two of them back and forth, where again the chemistry of Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore again is really, so where are we at right now in this movie? We're at 43 minutes in this movie. I don't know if I just woke up the sound. Oh wait, is this a Travis Scott album still going in the back? We're scoring goes to Jackboys 2. It is what it is. Shout out Travis Scott. But oh, did I pause it? Nope. Okay, we're going. So yeah, about 40 minutes in, and even the last 10 minutes or so, ever since Swayze died, it's not like, respectfully, Chad, we're talking about his movie character here, but again, R.I.P. the legend, of course. But ever since Sam Wheat passed away in the alley, there is not really any interaction from that point for a long time, basically till the spoiler, but for a long time for the movie between him and Demi Moore. So while it is a movie about the two of them, again, Pretty Woman is a movie that's directly the entire time sort of their chemistry and charisma battling back and forth. But this is a little bit more in the story and a little bit more in the rest of the characters as well too. And even the Carl character, like we're saying, and the Willie Lopez gets a run for, I guess he's maybe in half to 2/3 of this movie as well too. So this is a little bit more here. Let me pull the cast of Pretty Woman back up and see if I'm forgetting any major players, because I guess there is the hotel guy for sure that is a very nice sort of charming guy. I'm forgetting his actor name. I shouldn't, because he's iconic. Bellamy? No, it's not Bellamy. What's is it Jason Alexander? No, Jason Alexander is the Seinfeld guy. Who is the... Oh, Hector Elizondo. Shout out. Am I saying his last name right? Hector? His name is Hector Elizondo? I didn't even realize that, chat. Shout out. But, yeah, he's iconic in that movie as well. But again, you've got, Jason Alexander listed as the other guy, in the cast here as well, too. Like, if we're going order of importance for the credits. So he is, again, he's a presence in the movie and a little villain turn of, not even a little villain turn, but a villain guy for the movie as well too. But a different anchor to the plot. The plot's not necessarily anchored on it. If anything, he's more annoying to the plot. You're like, okay, let's just see more of Richard Gere and Julia Roberts just interacting and flirting and going back and forth. But in this one, again, you've got, Carl being kind of a slimy bad guy. You've got Whoopi Goldberg as an all-time performance as Oda Mae Brown in the just rolling around in the onesie pajamas. Ayo, shout out, chat. But and unfortunately, what do? Patrick, you can't really kick a ghost out of your house. So Patrick Swayze is just gonna be there keeping you up all night. Like, I mean, that's probably not how Whoopi Goldberg wanted Patrick Swayze keeping her up all night. Okay, chat, let's go to break. But that's what's happening in this situation. So I think the Sister Act franchise is after this movie. I'm trying to think, is Eddie after this movie? Is this movie? I'm trying to think of where this falls in the timeline for her career as well. And on stage, EGOT winner Whoopi Goldberg, of course, one of the most talented to do it. But you've got Fatal Beauty, 1987, a movie that's been floating around on Tubi for a while, and The Color Purple, 1985. Okay, so yeah, I mean, obviously a couple of. So what is more iconic for her career, the color purple or Sister Act? Maybe Sister Act, but uh, was she? Was there nominations involved in this? Maybe not for her. Oh yeah, Best Actress, Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, okay. I didn't have the 1985 Oscars remembered off the top, but I was gonna say I'm pretty sure Whoopi Goldberg got nominated for that. So in some ways, building on the strength of that nomination as well too, you've got a nominated Best Actress in a role as a supporter. I mean, it makes sense that she would sort of electrify this role, and you wonder if having those couple of lead roles helped in this way. She's sort of on the team where it's like, okay, Patrick Swayze is the lead guy, but having Whoopi carry a lot of the stuff. Like, again, I'm saying Patrick Swayze is the lead guy, but in all of the scenes that Whoopi is in, she is, of course, stealing the scene in a way, but she is also dominating the scene. Plus, the scenes are often about her. Again, Patrick Swayze is literally translating into the real world through her. So it's not like she's just in the scene as like, oh, Whoopi Goldberg, just be in the scene and steal the show. But also, again, a necessary part to the story to help Sam Wheat properly communicate what's going on and help him uncover the story. But you get the interaction between Whoopi Goldberg and Demi Moore. And again, not really a pairing that you would think about or would get brought up as like what would be, again, a dynamic chemistry type thing. But there is a great chemistry between these guys. Demi Moore, of course, with the nomination in this past Oscars and that sort of conversation about her legacy and greatness as an Oscar, as an actor. Well, with the Oscar nomination and with the Oscar sort of situation with Chris Rock. I don't know if that was like, oh yeah, hey, remember Demi Moore with G.I. Jane and remember how awesome her career has been as well too. I mean, again, there's definitely been sort of a conversation about where she falls in sort of let's remember that Demi Moore is like really one of the iconic 90s actresses that we had, but her versatility in roles is I like the movie stars that I feel like are a little like the NBA or even NFL players in that way as well too. You see that with NFL stuff with the defenders and even some of the skill position guys as well, where there's a little positional sort of versatility to their game. Like, even though Demi Moore, like Gene Hackman is a little kind of like this as well too, where it feels like you could break down Gene Hackman's performances into kind of the same thing. Like, okay, is there a version of the same person in all of Demi Moore's iconic performances with some of the emotional stuff that she can tap into, but there is a way that she's able to translate it into each of the movies and again play off of the people that she is playing with. And again, it really is just great acting as well too. It I don't know if it's just, again, the roles that she gravitate towards call for her characters to sort of have these beats in movies that she needs to have. But you think about the emotional scenes she's able to have in like St. Elmo's Fire, where of course she's under substances in that movie, but she's also just the emotional baggage that she's going through in that movie is just a different type of thing versus this is, again, a little bit more of a traumatic event experience type situation with the murder of her. I guess they're technically boyfriend girlfriend, right? Because there's a conversation about them getting married, but there's not really ever like a proposal, I don't think, or anything like that. So I don't know if she actually goes into like a fiancé, but I think anyway, getting your live-in boyfriend gunned down in front of you in an alley is probably going to be traumatic to a lot of people. So again, it's like, okay, is there going to be some similar stuff that's going to overlap in the performances? But you do feel like she is sad, and if she's like anytime she's breaking down emotionally in the movies, it's like, okay, you feel like she's doing it for the reason the movie calls for, if that makes sense. Like in St. Elmo's Fire, when in those last scenes when she's breaking down, you're like, okay, this is somebody that's sort of at the end of their rope and they don't really have anywhere else to go and kind of a rock bottom, just all the substance again. Like, you feel that in that performance, and in this one, in the weight of some of the scenes as well, you feel somebody that is dealing with loss in the performance as well too. So I don't again know through the conversation of her career if she's one of those people that was as appreciated in her roles as they were happening, but the retroactive for sure is one of the just dynamic people to just go back and watch as a performer as well too. And again, can tap into all the levels. Like, and I think there's an intensity with her as well too. Like, again, you're getting her into a role of G.I. Jane where if she's taken on some of those action level stuff as well too, she can get tactical in a movie and it's believable. And Demi Moore there's movies that's like, okay, Demi Moore's in the gym and she's bulked up and she's strong and she's got a rig on and she's carrying guns and she's, blowing people up. Like, if Demi Moore was in Terminator, like, I don't know, could that's, now we're, stepping on the hallowed grounds of action hero stars just in general as well too. But I'm saying she can cross over into a lot of those roles where maybe like Charlize Theron as well too can be in some of those action roles. And, she can definitely be in like a sexy rom-com type movie as well too. But I don't know if, like, honestly, like, how many people are going to be in this Ghost movie but are going to be compelling in the simple ways that Demi Moore is going to be compelling? A name that just came to mind, honestly, because, again, I don't know if it's just who's good at crying in movies, but Florence Pugh, I feel like, could kind of turn it up in some of those scenes as well too, where she's got to be sad because Sam Wheat's gone. She's got to be maybe Florence Pugh takes it a little too, but again, it felt like Demi Moore could really take it to the line of whatever the performance was in a scene, but it never feels like she's overacting too much in a scene. Maybe when you start getting into Disclosure, but even in Disclosure, like, again, her character is a real powerful, crazed up character in that movie. So it makes sense that she, like, I mean, I guess when she's on the balcony, like, maybe that's her most overacting scene of her career. But even then in that movie, you've got Michael Douglas, who's one of the kings of just definitely giving it a little bit too much in a scene. Pause. So there's a couple of times where, even in a couple of those iconic scenes, like, even he's going for it a little bit more in, directly acting across from her as well too. And Carl, we've got Carl making, if only he knew Patrick Swayze was in the room as a ghost, chat. He's making moves on his best friend's lady, right? Just the body, literally not even cold yet. Swayze hasn't even really gone into the afterlife, and Carl is already making moves. No coffee is introduced yet. I mean, that's when Carl's really spitting his game as the finest. I mean, I guess we'll get to that move when it happens. But, I mean, he's been around. He's been a very helpful guy, that's for sure. And in some ways, again, he's directly responsible for what's going on. In some ways, you think he's going to want to be close to maybe the investigation and just I mean, again, it is a murder. It's not like they have to investigate whether or not it is a murder and then figure out what's going on. Like, they have a witness. We know that he was shot in a back alley. Because, they have a gun wound and everything like that as well too. But the okay, maybe he wants to stay close to the investigation and figure out what's going on. But he's definitely also making very serious plays as well too. So Demi Moore, and that is a nice thing that they sort of do with Demi Moore in this movie. But again, she has a great performance where you feel her vulnerability in the moments, because even later when Carl's out here spilling coffee on his shirt and like, oh no, what's going on? Now I'm just naked in your house and I'm gonna try kissing you. Like, even then, just throughout, you feel the fact that again, like, she's lost her boyfriend. Like, she's single right now. There is an emotional and other vulnerabilities going on here, but there is that she's just like, okay, I'm not quite ready to cross that line quite yet. And make no mistake, you do have to get Patrick Swayze interjecting in a little bit. Like, who knows what happened if Patrick Swayze Ghost is not in the room. But you follow. I mean, it's just a tough beat. As first, you're walking around as a ghost, so you're dead. And then Carl is at your live-in girlfriend's house, making moves. It doesn't seem like Demi Moore is making too much of an effort to push him off, but she's also, is a good friend in the moment as well, too. So he's not, like, mad at Demi Moore. But you got Carl making moves on your girl, and then you're going to follow Carl over to the guy that just murdered you, old Willie Lopez's apartment. It's really got to be one of the, roughest 4 to 5 block stretches that you can have in a guy's life. We get another iconic Swayze. See, this is Swayze confused face right there. Swayze confused face. Speaking of friends, that might have been a Phoebe name at some point. Princess Swayze fuse face. I don't know what it was, but Swayze confused face right there was actually pretty good. He pulled it back just in time. Hey yo, it was just at the line of overdoing it. But I think at the end of the day, the short story is Demi Moore is moving up our all-time actress rankings. It is what it is. And I think it is a combination of just like, the favorite act, the favorites and the who do you enjoys as well too, but also the legacy, who would we trust in a certain role, in the amounts of roles to do a great job as well too. Because Sharon Stone would be one, Margot Robbie would be a great option to be in any movie as well too. If you're gonna, you start casting Halle Berry, just the cast of Boomerang at some point as well too. See, that's the other problem. It's like, it's just like all of my favorite actors just happen to be in, like, it'll just be like out of movies as well too. It's like, oh well, yeah, obviously, like my favorite actors are Robin Givens and Halle Berry and Eddie Murphy. Oh yeah, wait a second, I just really love Boomerang, so it's just the cast of Boomerang. But even them, I guess Robin Givens did have she did have a wide variety of roles. I don't know if her roles quite got the critical acclaim of Demi Moore. I mean, Halle Berry as well too could definitely, has a pretty great range for acting. You're like, oh well, why are we not bringing up Meryl Streep in this conversation? But I think it's a different type of thing. But maybe we just need to go back and watch some more prime Meryl Streep. Like, could have Fatal Attraction potentially. Mic have connectivity issues. Are we still going? Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think we are still fired up, underway, and good to go. But we've got an iconic file the police report, the police don't believe what's going on scene. And I feel like we don't have this scene in the same way that we used to. Again, I just watched Rebel Ridge recently, so that has a version of the, okay, I'm going to file a police report, the police aren't going to believe me. But again, that feels a little bit more like what it would be now, where it would be more corruption. Like, oh, the police know they're not, like, in some movies it just used to be the police would just like laugh at you. And it's like, oh, the silly police. They're just not believing you. They're just thinking this person's going to be goofy over here in the the interrogation or the questioning or whatever. But now it feels like, it's either they're corrupt or too serious, or like, oh, we can't do anything. We don't have probable cause. Our hands are tied, or something along those lines. You never just get like laughed out of the police station. You're like, no, my boyfriend got shot, but there's a ghost, and maybe his best friend is a thing, and they're like, everybody's just like, ah, ha, 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 we don't believe you. Digging up the past from Oda Mae Brown, like they just had that on file as well too. They're like, oh yeah, we've heard about this. I'd have to go back and double check the dialogue about why they brought out her file as well. But no file on Willie Lopez. Uh-oh. Fake name. See, again, you never just get the cops. I guess just the lazy police Just like we got no Willie Lopez file. It's like, oh yeah, nobody ever used a fake name before 1990. They're now like, oh, no criminal was like, every criminal back then used their real name. Obviously, if they can't track down a Willie Lopez, then he's not a criminal. But he's like, oh yeah, we just got the Oda Mae Brown file queued up and ready to go for when people coming in. Maybe, I guess she is a psychic, so, or at least at this phase in her life, is a psychic in this movie. But because I think that she's run around couple of different careers scamming people earlier on, but she settles into the role of a psychic, and maybe once she's in her psychic profession, like a lot of people are going to the police with police reports based on various readings that she has, or she read in the future that my husband's gonna kill me, so I need to like police protection or whatever. So maybe they do need to keep a file on Oda Mae Brown just in case people start popping up, with these psychic readings that she's putting out there. But also, again, she is literally communicating with Sam Wheat as well too. So it's not like she's totally false in her stuff. Like, I mean, Oda Mae Brown is definitely hustling people a little bit. Like, I feel like they make that clear in the movie. Again, she's got a little bit of a record as well too. But even you see her operate in some of the stuff in her little psychic lounge there. It does feel like there is at times, maybe a little bit of she's not necessarily embellishing what's going on, for sure. But she does literally have the ability to tap into psychic stuff. So maybe the police should take her a little bit more seriously as well. I don't know if Oda Mae Brown has done the best job of proving her psychic abilities to the greater police department. But also, there could be other reasons as well too. We not necessarily have the ability to get into that. But our guy Carl is now scrambling. So you see the sweat start to form right at this point. There's a little bit of a shine on our guy Carl. And that would be a good movie rankings as well too. I forgot what the other movie rankings that we were going to cook up earlier was, but this would be another good movie rankings as well. Would be and this is a big pause, but the progressively sweaty movie rankings. Hey yo, and again, I feel like the progressively sweaty takes out a couple of different types of scenes, because then like again bringing Sharon Stone back, like a Basic Instinct type scene, not necessarily progressively sweaty, pretty sweaty right away, but the idea of the tension building, and it's like all of a sudden, a little sweat on the forehead, now all of a sudden he's loosening the collar, the shirt's undone, the tie's off, like the dress shirt, like you want to see the patches on the dress shirt start to form, you want to see him start to pit out, you want to see some of the, the jacket comes off, a little back sweat maybe at some point, just as the heat, starts to happen around the corner. Hey, yo, as Al Pacino closes in as the cop, I'm sure Al Pacino's in this police first. If Demi Moore had gone to Al Pacino, what would he have said as the cop in Heat? we don't really want to know, I don't think, at this point. I don't know if Demi Moore would have appreciated those comments in this moment, but maybe he would have been willing to solve the case as well. But the shot of Patrick Swayze just appearing from above the computer as Carl looks up the old files is, again, another pretty fun shot. Like, there's a couple of just fun filmmaking things. And I'm not like a filmmaking guy, but when they stand out, it's like, okay, that's when you're doing it right. So what do we got here? Oh, The Naked Gun? Okay, Airplane, Police Squad. So directed definitely more iconic comedy movies. Just, I guess, directed mostly Naked Gun movies at this point. And I was going to say the new Naked Gun movies, but the characters, based on characters that he's written. And really for the latter half is great. The First Night in 1995. Shout out Richard Gere and Sean Connery. And then Rat Race in 2001. What is inspired by Stanley Kramer's Mad Mad World. John Cleese, Rowan Atkinson. Oh, speaking of Whoopi Goldberg, she's back with our guy Jerry Zucker in Rat Race 2001. But yeah, you can definitely feel the I mean, again, this movie feels a little bit lighter, even though it is a little, a death movie, an afterlife ghost movie. There's murder, there's everything involved. Like, it's definitely tonally uh, upbeat, happier, sweeter, I guess, type movie. But there is those little filmmaking things that are in there that are, it's like, oh, wait a second, that's like a thriller type shot. The slow reveal action chase shot down the alley is just a good pause the reveal type beat. Like, again, it's Ghost. You know that Swayze's gonna be the whole plot of this movie is Swayze is a ghost. But just to hold that beat for just a second, it's just very effective type stuff. So now we get Carl. Now, speaking of the dress shirt off, the jacket's off, the tie's off. We're in Demi Moore's apartment. The coffee is out. So Carl is about to get pretty clumsy when he drinks his coffee. It happens sometimes. Happens to the best of us, chat. Not a move that I don't know if it's lasted into 2025. Plus, also just hot coffee as well, too. It's a little bit of a risk. Like, you're either dumping hot coffee on you or Demi Moore is serving you cold coffee. So, again, if the plan is to just dump it on your shirt at the end of the day, then it doesn't really matter the quality of the drink. But also, if it's not a fresh, well, what are we saying? Oh, it's got to be a fresh coffee. I'm just saying, it's like, what is the scenario? I'm just trying to think out what the scenario is. Is it he just came over, put on a pot, or is it, oh, this pot's been sitting around all day, dip into this real quick. Okay, it's just room temp. It's totally safe to be spilt on your shirt. So maybe that's a move as well too. Keep the coffee a little bit sizzling just in case. Also, people just don't keep coffee around as well too. I mean, I don't feel like people were just, it's not, people's houses aren't like a restaurant. I don't feel like they just have a coffee pot sitting around even back in the day. It's like, okay, I need a cup of coffee. I'll make a cup of coffee, do a little thing. But just the idea of the coffee pot's obviously still around. But in people's house, I feel like the coffee machine has, in the residential setting, has definitely taken over a little bit. And maybe that even goes back to some of the Keurig days as well too. Like, a Keurig is just not the same as a coffee pot. I mean, it's obviously a little bit more effective, maybe a little bit better for the, the fresh individual cup. Even you just crank out a couple of Keurig cups right in a row if you need to make a bunch. But just a classic coffee pot cup of coffee is pretty iconic. I might get one for the studio just to have in here, chat. That might be a pretty good thing. We would just go up and just get a cup of coffee just randomly during the live stream. That might be I don't know if that's a move or not. But it is a move for Carl to spill it on his shirt and then try to make a move on Demi Moore afterwards. So again, Patrick Swayze is, and I mean, Patrick Swayze, I like that he gives Demi Moore a shot. He's like, okay, let's see what happens. Carl is already like, again, shirtless in front of Demi Moore, like holding her face, brushing the hair back. So, again, the point being, if Patrick Swayze is going to intervene, like, he's definitely, whatever the version of The Last Moment is, I mean, maybe he's just like one step behind that, but also it feels like if you're going to intervene, you're intervening earlier as well too. Not like in a middle ground. I guess at this point, by the time he's got like a full shoulder grab and you kind of start seeing the direction that this is going as well too. You can cut Patrick Swayze's like a game of Madden. He starts to lean forward in his chair. Oh, chat, the Patrick Swayze disgust face. Hey, yo. Diving through the couch, knocking over the picture frame. Fortunately, I guess there was a picture there for him to knock over. And he wasn't even trying to knock over the picture as well, too. I guess this is the first time as well, I forgot, that we reveal that Swayze has those powers. I was thinking that he knocked over that picture intentionally to get him to stop. But then that would beg the question of, would he just run in and stop Carl at that point as well, too? So, and also, again, on the shirt thing as well, like just the whole... She's like, okay, I'll throw it in the wash for you. He's like, no, it's okay. It'll dry in a second. So he's just going to put the crusty coffee dried shirt back on. You know, I guess again, if it's hot coffee, is that there should just be like a scalding burn on his chest. That should have been the scene, obviously. The scene should have been like dumps hot coffee on his chest, scalding 3rd-degree burns. Demi Moore has to get out an ice pack, and then maybe he starts making, a little wounded soldier starts making the moves at that point. And, maybe wounded soldier turn the tables. She's kind of like, oh, everybody's been helping me. It's so nice I can finally help somebody again. And he's like, oh, help me anytime you want. And then, then Patrick Swayze's like, hey, now, we can't be having that. I don't know if we have to get Jeremy Zucker in here for a rewrite of that scene. But I feel like you've got maybe it's just iced coffee. Like, that would be the, again, you're not necessarily remaking this movie. Oh, I forgot about Patrick Swayze just sticks his head in the train as it passes by. I don't know how that, there was some stuff with him phasing through a door earlier. He's somehow able to locate the train and jump on as it's passing by, even though it's going, the speed of a train. You assume as he locates the guy and jumps on, he'd be at least a couple cars behind and would have to catch up. And is that Queen Latifah just sitting on the train as well, too? We could have used a Queen Latifah cameo there for sure, even if it was just for a split second. But, yeah, this guy's just not, there's no extra afterlife for this guy. He's not going to heaven. He's not going to hell. He's just on the train. Our guy's just on the train. He's just a train ghost. It is what it is. I guess he is literally labeled Subway Ghost as well. So it does. If he is the Subway Ghost, I guess that's where he's bound to. Did he get stabbed on the subway or something? Is there a reason that he is stuck on the subway? I mean, if he's a guy that just lived or hung out on the subway a lot, it would increase his odds that some bad stuff might go down on the subway. But I don't know why he is necessarily delegated there for eternity. But maybe he is there to help the other ghosts learn when they need train their powers as well too. Because it does seem like he has done this a couple of times. He's got his focus speech locked in. He's got the bottle cap propped up. It's not like he is necessarily figuring out how to train somebody. He's got it locked in. He's got the rules way in your gut. He's got the form figured out. Even if you've never had to teach somebody, it's like, has he ever had to look inward as a ghost? Hey, yo, pause. But has he ever had to look inward as a ghost and figure out how his powers even work? But he's got the rules and the mechanics all worked out. So Patrick Swayze goes to kick the can and just completely Charlie Browns it. I mean, I don't know why he feels like he needs to punt it 50 yards to figure out how to control his powers. Like, couldn't he figure out the same sort of mechanics of just like, okay, tap it with your foot? Okay, so honestly, he gets it second try. Is not bad. It doesn't, the can, I don't think it, did he give it sort of different properties when he kicked it? Because it might have bounced off the head of Subway Ghost. I don't know if it passed through Subway Ghost or just bounced off his head. I guess he doesn't have it totally locked in yet. Not quite able to tap the shoe. Ayo, pause. Shout out to Elizabeth Shoe. Ayo. But, so maybe the extra aggression was the more, I guess, more focus. You got to focus. That's definitely the rules. It was going to help him earlier on. So, I don't know. Maybe you take those shoes for yourself, honestly. Maybe you have like a fun pair of shoes as well, too. I don't know who would be leaving shoes there if it was just like a random pair of Jordans. So, 1990, I don't know which Jordans you would have had, but I mean, he got the ones pretty early, so at least, I guess, unless he had the ones for, a lot longer than I'm thinking of, and just started the line at some other time, down the road. But I would assume by 90, or at least the 3 or the 4s at that point. So apparently there's no smoking as a ghost either, and no cure for fiending as a ghost. The ghost cannot take a drag. He's fiending for a drag, but he's also fiending for a drag. So even as a ghost, he craves smoke. He craves the smoke, chat, but he's just unable to. So unfortunately, that was the last straw, and he had to jump back on the subway, and he can't hang out with Patrick Swayze anymore. Patrick Swayze is got him too close to the temptation. But hey, yo. But it was fortunately just in time for Swayze to learn his skills to return back. So, he was chasing down Willie Lopez, and he felt like the way that he was as a ghost was good enough. But the minute that Carl starts making moves on Demi Moore, he's like, okay, I got to go find the subway ghost and figure out how to stop this guy. This is unacceptable. What has happened? And I guess, does Swayze even really know what he is doing at this point? I don't even think Swayze has a goal as a ghost. I just think he's like, okay, I've got controllable powers. Demi Moore's got Carl Einer, so I feel like these two things can keep me occupied for a long time. And I guess he does know that Carl and Willie Lopez are involved as well, too, because he did follow Carl over to Willie Lopez. But now we're back to getting Whoopi Goldberg in the picture. So 118 into the movie is, again, she was only in just those couple of scenes before as well, too. So she is, really dominant. And again, going back to that Rewatchables episode as well, they had brought up the point of somebody who enters a movie later into the movie, but still feels like they're able to own the entire movie. Again, you still feel like Whoopi Goldberg is an equal part to the whole story of this movie, even though she is on screen about a third to halfway through the movie before she's even introduced. And again, going back to our guy Gene Hackman, the other one that I could think of when I was listening to that episode again recently was Gene Hackman in Enemy of the State appears in that movie like an hour into that movie. So I don't know if my film knowledge is enough to be able to be more. It's going to be Gene Hackman movies or Denzel movies. So I don't, is there a movie is there a Denzel movie? And it would be probably a newer movie. So is there a classic Denzel movie that I'm not thinking of where he's just in the movie an hour later? I don't know. But, either way, again, literally wins the Oscar for her performance as well. So I don't know who she was up against. And again, the other iconic roles from those other lead movies that we saw in 1990, there wasn't a lot of supporting female parts in those. You definitely have the Henry Hill's wife in Goodfellas, but Julia Roberts is not going to go supporting for Pretty Woman. Make no mistake. And again, there you got a couple other guys as supporters in that, but not really any other best supporting actress nominations out of that movie. I guess if you're going to go, is it Catherine O'Hara, the mom from Home Alone, for best supporting? And maybe she did get nominated, but even that, you feel like you could make the case for her as the lead actress of that movie, even though Kevin is the lead of that movie, Macaulay Culkin's lead of that movie, and you got other supporting people with the robbers, but she is still the main lead actress in that movie anyways. So again, Demi Moore's competition amongst the other sort of top 10 films was interesting at that time. I guess in terms of me recalling what they are right away. But you've got Annette Bening with The Grifters, Lorraine Bracco, Goodfellas, Diane Ladd, Wild at Heart, and then Mary McDonnell in Dances with Wolves as well too. So again, a little bit more of the undercover movies with The Grifters. I guess Dances with Wolves again was a big movie and won Best Picture, but still not one of those. It wasn't in that top 10, right? And then Wild at Heart as well too wasn't in there as well. The iconic Crispin Glover vehicle, Wild at Heart, David Lynch, shout out. So wait a second, let's go back to that 1990 list real quick and see if that movie, it wasn't in the top 10. Wait a second, Dance with Wolves. What movie was I just looking at that was not in the top 10? That was now I'm all over the place. I don't even remember the four movies I just loved, but so Dance with Wolves was the box office success as well too. But even the Bracco, Bracco's character in Goodfellas is not the same person in the story that Whoopi Goldberg is here. She's definitely amazing in the movie, and a really great character, and a really gripping performance too near the end of the movie. But again, is and I'm not saying it in a way like it's bad for sort of Scorsese or anything like that, but she is still a little bit more of a minor character as well too. Whoopi Goldberg is just more important to the story. So wait, let me go back to that and see. And then yeah, the other ones, I guess I don't know if they're necessarily even in the conversation at that point. But yeah, she is, the MVP of the story and the MVP of the scene stealing performances as well too. So it totally lines up that she should win for this. And again, she's an EGOT winner. So, this is part of the EGOT. But I don't know how many other nominations she has outside of the other one that we saw as well. Okay, so that's her 2 Academy nominations, The Color Purple and for Ghost. So it feels like maybe there should be another Academy nomination in there at some point in the future. I guess I don't know if she's still doing movie roles as much in the same way. But if she is, hopefully it lines up right. That could definitely happen. And 3 Golden Globes. So I was gonna say, wait, she didn't win Best Actress for the Oscar, but nominated 3 times for a Golden Globe, 1, 2 for The Color Purple, and Best Supporting for Ghost as well too. So it doesn't say what the third nomination is here. So wait, let's see a list of awards for one of our favorites, Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, Sister Act, Best Actress, Sister Act. And she actually won for A Color Purple as well, too. Okay, so didn't win the Oscar, but won the Golden Globe for both. And then didn't win for Sister Act? So the 1993 Golden Globes Best Actress Motion Picture Comedy or Musical. Let's see who she was competing against in this category for the supporting part. We've got drama, musical, or comedy. We don't want that. We want oh wait, maybe we do want that. Where is she not listed on here? What happened to her name? Supporting actress Joan Plowright, Geraldine Chaplin, Judy Lewis, Miranda Richardson, Alfred. Wait, Alfreda? What did I say? Alfred Woodard in the mix as well too. I guess would it have been the next year? The 51st Golden Globes would have Best Performance Drama, Best Performance Musical or Comedy, Best Supporting. Meryl Streep's Death Becomes Her. Okay. And then Sharon Stone lost for Best Performance in a Drama to Emma Thompson, Howard's End. Mary McDowell, Passion Fish. Michelle Pfeiffer, Love Field. Susan Sarandon, Lorenzo's Oil. And then Sharon Stone, Basic Instinct in there as well. So that's a tough one, Chad. I guess I'm going to have to go back and revisit Enchanted April to see how it holds up against some of these other performances. But Whoopi over Gina Davis in A League of Their Own? I mean, lock it in, Chad. Lock it in. Whoopi's carrying the movie in a way that... I mean, she might be the MVP movie performance of anybody on this list. I don't know, Nicolas Cage in The Honeymoon. I mean, he's got Madonna. Tim Robbins in Bob Roberts. I guess we'd have to go back and refresh on that one and see who was in it. Maybe he's got like a real solo, awesome one-man machine type performance in that movie as well too. We got Pacino with the nom this year in Glengarry Glen Ross. Chris O'Donnell for Scent of a Woman though. And then Nicholson for A Few Good Women. But Sheriff Little Bill, Gene Hackman in Unforgiven wins Best Supporting that year as well. So those are her 3 nominations. I guess Best Supporting Actress. Yeah, so we looked at for... Oh, no, this is for Golden Globes. Here we go. So we can see who she was nominated up against here as well. Again, Lorraine Bracco from Goodfellas. Diane Ladd, Wild at Heart. Shirley MacLaine, The Postcards, Edge, Mary McDowell, Dance with the, and Winona Ryder, Mermaids, not Memories, Mermaids. Winona Ryder, Mermaids. Also, so she already got the field for the Oscars. Looking back, it's not that difficult to, again, assume that she would just get a win over the same field again. But you do add Winona Ryder into the mix and Diane Ladd as well too. So I don't know if they necessarily hold up in the same way as Whoopi Goldberg in terms of actors, but Winona Ryder definitely does. A bit more. I mean, he's a little younger, I think, than Hugh Jackman is right now. So comparatively, where Swayze was at, and it's like age-wise, I think it makes more sense for Gyllenhaal to take the role. But I think vibes-wise, I think maybe Jackman makes more sense. And again, a guy like, I think Hemsworth is a little Swayze-ish for sure, but Hemsworth is almost of one, I think, in his own way as well too. And again, we never saw Swayze do like the actual, again, speaking of Arnold, he never got into the suit and was like, I'm a cop or I'm a military guy in a jungle overseas, like gunning down rebels, or now all of a sudden I'm like a police officer chasing down guys. Again, he was in Point Break, but the surfer thing, and they are heisting in that and stuff as well too. So, I guess I got to give him his fair credit, but I don't know. Hemsworth is right there. Like, he's definitely got that versatility for sure. I think in Extraction, he's really great tactically, and he's obviously really funny in a lot of the Marvel stuff as well too. So there is some of his performances, if you were able to find a way to sort of tap into both into the same one. And Marvel does that as well too, but again, his action stuff is different in that than it is in a movie like Extraction. And he has, I think, a bit of a weird filmography as well too. Like, I feel like he's been in some bit parts, like, you pop up as like Hemsworth, sort of like you're not playing Hemsworth, but you're playing a really hot guy, so you're kind of like playing yourself a little bit. So yeah, Thor, Avengers, Snow White, Red Dawn, Star Trek Into the Darkness, Rush, Thor: The Dark World, Black Hat, Age of Ultron, In the Heart of the Sea, Ghostbusters. I think that's one of those like bit parts. Again, more Marvel movies, a run of Marvel movies there. Avengers, 12 Strong. Okay, yeah, he's in 12 Strong. Extraction, Men in Black. He's definitely gotten better at picking his movies, for sure, over the last couple of years. But I guess it's not in a movie this year. So I was going to say, I feel like it's going to be a second. And really, okay, Mad Max, yeah, for sure. I haven't seen Furiosa yet, but he is a big part of that movie. Extraction 2. So, I mean, I don't want to, like, really go and just pick apart Hemsworth's last 5 years. But, Spiderhead, I don't think really hit the way that it was supposed to. Interceptor, I'm not really sure what that is, and it's an uncredited cameo in this one as well too. But you've got Thor as an extension of the Thor universe. Extraction 2, obviously a remake. Furiosa is a new movie, but also a remake, and then he's reprising. He's archived, so he's just a cameo in Deadpool, and then he's a voice actor in Transformers. So to really see Evans, like, really only a couple of big roles in the last handful of years. So Crime 101. I guess this will be fun. We have to add this to the watch list. Hemsworth, Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, Halle Berry, Monica Barbaro? Monica Barbaro? Oh, okay. This face definitely seems familiar for sure. So that could be a fun movie. Absolutely. And then Avengers and the Stunt Nuts. Whoa, hey, yo. But he does have a little of the Swayze energy. Hemsworth, maybe he feels like, are Brad Pitt and Swayze in the same category? I don't know if there's a different lane, because Pitt could have been the bouncer at Roadhouse as well too. But again, the movie might be too good if Pitt's the bouncer. Like, Pitt might not be able. The thing is, Patrick Swayze, the stuff that he could, some of the funny stuff that he could give you could lean into whether or not if the movie's great or if the movie is a corny movie then some of Swayze's corniness can, of course, play really well into that movie. Versus, I don't know if Brad Pitt is going to get. Brad Pitt can definitely be funny and charming in any role, but it's a different type of thing than like a corny type thing. I don't know if Hemsworth is necessarily in that as well, but I feel like he could get there maybe a little bit more so. And again, he's just kind of like a straight. He's like an always sort of jacked up, crazy, you know, kind of always playing the hot guy in a movie. Like, could Swayze? And again, Swayze's always playing the cool guy, but and maybe there would have been in 2025 as well too. But the cameo again in Ghostbusters, where but Swayze, I guess, could have done that part. I guess, could Swayze have been Thor? Like, I don't know if Swayze gets into the actor levels that maybe even Hemsworth could tap into, where he's the comedic stuff that Thor is, just the easy comedic stuff, and then, like we're saying, an extraction with some of the tactical stuff as well. But I don't think anybody could really run around this same way. Joseph Gordon-Levitt? No, I don't think that's right as well too. Yeah, it would be tough to remake this movie. I guess, you just recasting Glenn Powell in every rom-com in 2025. But even Glenn Powell feels different than Swayze. I mean, both definitely super charismatic. All the ladies love him. Are definitely going to be, a force of, just presence when they're on the screen. But, speaking of maybe Cavill? Henry Cavill could be a little Swayze-ish because he has gone for some goofier roles in the past. He'll do a action comedy type movie for sure, and he's really good in Fallout. Obviously, underrated role as Superman, even if some of the stuff around him wasn't too great. But he does have. Let's make a list. The top 5 Patrick Swayzes in 2025. Jackman #1. Hey, yo, speaking of Jackboys, our guy Jackman, Hugh Jackboys? Maybe that's Jackboys 3. Travis Scott, there's an idea for you. Hugh Jackboys. So Hugh Jackman, we've got Hemsworth on the list, and then who did we just say, chat? I just am going to be blanking now on who we just said. IT, check the tapes and figure out who we just said. I keep wanting to, because Gyllenhaal was in the Roadhouse thing, and I get it as well too, but even him, there is just it's a different type of charisma, I think, that Gyllenhaal has, for sure. Could Downey be a Patrick Swayze type? He's almost a little too charismatic, I think, to be Swayze. Oh, who was it, chat? Oh, that's annoying. I know I'll remember as soon as I'm done, or in a little bit, or in a second. But I feel like it was a decent one to list. Oh, we did say Brad Pitt for sure as well. Who, again, I could see him playing in a lot of the similar roles. I don't know if he brings a lot of, outside of hotness, a lot of the same elements that Swayze brings to the screen as well. And we did say Glenn Powell, but it wasn't Glenn Powell. We stick in the Top Gun cast. Miles Teller could be a good bad guy, and I think Glenn Powell would be a really good bad guy as well too. I don't see Glenn Powell and Hugh Jackman in this movie. It's a little like Hugh Jackman's a little too old for this part at this time right now. But I don't think you're gonna get like Jacob Elordi in this part as well too. Like, he might be a few years away from Patrick Swayze and Ghost level. Hey, yo, Jacob Elordi, I feel like he might be, I don't know if he's on the list again, right? Like, right now I wouldn't say that he's a 2025 Patrick Swayze candidate, but he's a Patrick Swayze watch list candidate for sure. He could definitely get there. You could see the variety of movies. Could Jacob Elordi be a bouncer at the oh geez, now I'm gonna forget the Double Deuce. Could he be a bouncer at the Double Deuce? Honestly, Elordi feels more like one of the sidekick bouncers. I don't know if he feels like Swayze, or maybe I don't know if Elordi's the bad guy in that movie as well too. I could see him in a Point Break situation though, for sure. Charles Melton's a rising young star. He could definitely be. I think Damson Idris feels like, again, maybe he's too good of an actor. I don't know. He might be, because again, Swayze unfortunately was not snagging any Oscar nominations out of this movie, even if the movie itself was an Oscar level movie. So we could definitely see maybe some award stuff for our guy Idris in the future. It seems like his performance, again, speaking of Brad Pitt, in this F1 movie, is there. Peak Javier Bardem, like a younger Javier Bardem, could have been a little Patrick Swayze as well too. But again, he's almost too good of an actor to be Swayze. Ooh, what about Hiddleston? Hiddleston is Hiddleston? Our guy Loki, Tom Hiddleston. I feel like he's a little low key. I don't know if he's gonna commit to some of the facial expressions the way that Hiddleston does, or the way that Patrick Swayze does. But I feel like he could have sort of the background floating around, ghostly presence, be the hot guy on the screen. Demi Moore really misses him, but also could get running around, kind of a risky guy beforehand as well too. The Willie Lopez would be a fun one to recast as well too. But again, you got to recast, like we've talked about with some of these movies that again, you have a hard time remaking or just haven't had the remakes in the same way. You're not only getting certain people at the certain times in their careers where it's like, okay, how do we replicate getting a person at this exact moment where the energy is right and the momentum is right and the build is right, and then they are able to commit to the performance in the right way and deliver something iconic. But also, again, just sort of one of one actors in a way. You've got 3 one of one actors in this movie. You've got, between Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg. And I don't want to call Demi Moore the most replaceable one of those actors because, again, she's also Oscar nominated, so it would seem like she's also irreplaceable in basically any role that she does. But those 3 people, it's difficult to imagine other people in those roles giving you the same performances that you can get. Because, like, even Queen Latifah, I don't know if she's giving you the same. Like, Queen Latifah can be this person awesome, but just the same energy that Whoopi Goldberg is giving you in this movie, I don't know if Queen Latifah is getting to that type of stuff as well. So, maybe Melissa McCarthy. Maybe Melissa McCarthy could do this movie. Honestly, Chad, if we keep saying names, we may give Hollywood some ideas. We don't want to cast out the full movie because then it could get risky. You know what? If we do cast Hugh Jackman in this movie, we could remake this movie with Hugh Jackman in current Demi Moore. Chat, we do a Hollywood remake where we recast the same person in the role. Maybe there's a joke to address it, but it's not even Ghost 2. Or maybe it is Ghost 2. Is that Ghost 2? Demi Moore and Hugh Jackman. Oh, Willie Lopez, R.I.P. Obviously, R.I.P. the legend in real life as well. But in the movie, his time has expired, sandwiched between 2 cars, and unfortunately, the afterlife is not going to be good for our guy Willie Lopez. He's getting up. We see him separating from his body. No body on the ground, so we're purely in the afterlife at this point. Again, plenty of people walking around. Oh, wait a second. His ghost body, for some reason, his ghost body was literally flung out of his body across the street. So his dead body is sprawled out on the windshield, again, of the car. He's smashed between the bus and the car. But the spirit into a car down the street. So Swayze, again, apparently a ghost rule number 3. Again, you are allowed to avenge your own death. Because make no mistake, like Swayze kind of kills Willie Lopez here. So, I mean, Willie Lopez is going to hell for killing Patrick Swayze in this movie, but Patrick Swayze gets to just peacefully wander into the afterlife for taking down Willie Lopez. But again, I guess, revenge is off the table when it comes to that type of stuff. Patrick Swayze, it's okay. And maybe it's more Patrick Swayze kind of drove him into a situation where he got himself killed. And again, like Willie Lopez directly fired a shot. But again, Carl, spoiler, Carl gets sent to hell in this movie as well. And, that was one of Simmons' hot takes on the Ghost Rewatchable was, it was a step too far for our guy Carl because he never really wanted Swayze to die necessarily, get the codes and stuff or whatever off his body. So, now Carl's got some blood on his hands. Swayze, I guess because he's a ghost, the blood doesn't stay on his hands. I don't know how that works, Chad. But as a ghost, you are allowed to avenge your death to the point where you can get Willie Lopez killed and sent to hell afterwards. So there are some good things working in Patrick Swayze's favor as a ghost here. But we've got Oda Mae Brown now and Demi Moore. And again, just a dynamite couple of interactions they have. But really, as the last couple of interactions in the movie, and then I believe this scene specifically is, as we wind down, the one where we really see them two acting toe-to-toe. And it is, I think, like we were saying, her importance to the story and the way they move the story and to keep this movie, again, Oscar quality level. Because, again, even with Swayze, you don't think about him being, like, his run of movies being those type of movies. But this one is that type of movie. But the cheat code, I think, to it is, again, like, you literally have Whoopi Goldberg acting for Patrick Swayze in some of these moments. In Roadhouse or Point Break, even if they would have, like, if they had attempted a moment like this in Roadhouse, I guess they do have a couple of post-coital scenes in Roadhouse. So, there is some, but there's never like the emotional type scene, like this climax sort of interaction between, between Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore and their relationship and the kind of closure that you get there. But a lot of the acting, of course, is done through Whoopi Goldberg. So while Swayze does get to be a face running around in the movie, he isn't necessarily tasked with the direct, heavy, emotional acting stuff. You literally have an EGOT winner that can handle that for you. So the pivotal emotional scenes, again, are driven here through Demi Moore and through Whoopi Goldberg, and it allows her to, it allows this movie to work in that type of way. So you get the penny floating into her hand, very sweet, but again, it's a different, even her, her crying within this movie itself is different types of crying. Like we're comparing it again to the, St. Elmo's Fire where she's really broken up. Now there's like a, she knows that there's sort of a communication that can happen in the after, like there's a, a glimmer of hope that there can be closure with her and with Sam Wheat. So you can see that built in this scene as well too. It's really really incredible stuff. So again, let's sort of Swayze bypass any heavy lifting acting. It's like, okay, we can run the play for Whoopi Goldberg and Patrick Swayze can still get the assist, but Whoopi Goldberg gets to be the one that takes the three-pointer, the Kyrie three-pointer to actually close it out and win the title for sure. And is, it's a scene that is a little difficult to balance as well too, because again, it's not like Whoopi Goldberg, while the acting is there between those two people, it's not like she is the one that's emotionally connected to me more in this scene, so just the build of our own emotions of getting that final closure moment between Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. And the CGI, the CGI it's not bad here. It's definitely, it's one thing to know that CGI is fake, especially back then, but it's another thing when it's like, okay, it's still works and it's serviceable. I love the idea of Demi like or Whoopi Goldberg like looking away. It just like she just like tries to find Patrick Swayze's ghost hand in the air. It's like, okay, one, you know, she's like, what does she think Demi Moore is gonna start doing here with Patrick Swayze's ghost? Where it's like, okay, let me just go into the room. I guess there is like a sweet little kiss at the end, but rule number 4, only kissing is allowed, apparently, and there is no, of course, talking, but the physical touch is possible through the outside world. Again, if you really focus, you can knock over some pictures, you can ruffle some papers off a desk, you can move a penny into Demi Moore's hand, but you don't think that there would be sort of a whispering thing going on as well too. I mean, literally just eliminate Patrick Swayze from the scene. He goes right into Whoopi Goldberg's form. And just there's like, okay, we're not even going to CGI Patrick Swayze into the scene. We can't even trust like Patrick Swayze standing in the background, like being an extra watching the scene. The Patrick Swayze faces watching Whoopi Goldberg and Demi Moore would just be, maybe the all-time faces in this movie. So let the two icons handle it for sure. I mean, Pacino and De Niro, and then Demi Moore and Whoopi Goldberg are like the iconic scenes of the 90s, obviously. But, yeah, I forget what we were saying about the Oscar point. Oh, we were ranking potential Patrick Swayzes for the remake, if we want to see the remake. I mean, but again, it's just you almost have to pivot the characters as well, too. I almost think that, chat, what about like Tiffany Haddish as Whoopi Goldberg? That could be fun. She could definitely give you the same crazy sort of fun energy, but bring you a sweet moment as well too. So now Patrick Swayze's back, our guy. No CGI. It's like, okay, we'll let Patrick Swayze actually be in this scene. It's a sweet moment. He's made. Wait, did they kill Carl already? I feel like, hey, shout out, spoiler warning, in case I missed that one when I was rambling on. Do they just go straight from here to Patrick Swayze off into eternity? Oh, chat, we forgot to R.I.P. Carl. R.I.P. Carl, unfortunate run to have your best friend done and then, making moves on the girl and then all of a sudden, now you're dead. It's a tough sequence of events for our guy Carl, but also, probably had it coming as well too. Pause. So you set up, you just get involved, like we're saying. Maybe you don't intentionally set up, but you get involved in the murder of your best friend, and there's probably going to be some bad karma things that happen in there as well too. But we've got Tiffany Haddish, we've got no Demi Moore character, and maybe Chris Hemsworth as Patrick Swayze. But I don't know. Chris Hemsworth and Tiffany Haddish is a fun combination if Chris Hemsworth is in. But see, just something about that doesn't quite feel like, I don't know. Hemsworth doesn't feel like he can get as crazy as maybe Swayze can. There's Carl, chat, interrupting a sweet moment, fully, pitted out in sweat at this point. The heat is on around the corner. He is totally locked in. Is he there to kill Molly? He's got the gun. I forget. Is he just charging in for death at this point? They don't show Carl like doing a line at some point. You would assume that with the energy and the moisture that we've got going on, that Carl would be, a little substanced up at this point. Chasing him right up the fire escape. We don't get like a Whoopi Goldberg versus Carl showdown as well too. Maybe like a roundhouse kick from Whoopi Goldberg to knock Carl back would have been the finals touch. Maybe you can't call her best supporting actress if she takes out Carl, is the problem. Maybe she goes into just main character in the movie at that point. Could have had her sneakiest worst death of anybody. Sneakiest worst death of anybody in this movie. We'll have to remember the exact dynamics of how this worked. Of the actually, how did they decease Willie Lopez? You know, you never want to get just smashed between a bus and a car, but maybe there was a quickness to that where it does feel like Carl had a kind of a painful death. So, oh, he gets Odame's foot. Just, I don't know what Odame, well, you know, Odame's involved. She's been stirring up trouble for our guy Carl. And at this point, Carl just, you know, he needs answers and he needs to solve his problem. Carl just, you know, he needs answers and he needs to solve his problems. Years later, you know, doing a better job of avoiding the situation, at least for a time. So, you know, not quite able to do it here. But our guy Swayze, and again, now we're back into thriller vibe. You know, Swayze's here, but we can't see him. Carl, you know, maybe the most overused action line in any movie. I'll kill her. I swear I'll kill her. I'll do it. I don't know if that's, I don't, maybe we do a power ranking of lines that are in every action movie. But that's definitely a top-notch candidate for sure. Oh, are we still connected? We just dipped down. The internet just dipped down bad there for a second. Let me see. Hopefully we're still going, chat. We made it all the way through last night without connectivity issues. And we're almost made it through the end of the movie. I think we just avoided issues there. Let me see. I'm checking the stats right now. I guess if you guys are live, you know, hang in there. I'm catching up. I'm just making sure. Okay. I think we're good. I think it still says we're going. So we're close, chat. We're almost to the end of the movie. They need to get Carl done quick. And then we can, you know, the internet won't be an issue. Yeah, so we got the crane hook into the window. Yeah, and then the window. Oh, chat, Carl. Even Patrick Swayze had to look away. Yeah, that's not good. Carl with just the big shred of window right to the torso. At least, again, it's not like they had to sit there. Patrick Swayze just sitting there for 10 minutes waiting for Carl to... That's the real version, unfortunately. I think that might have gotten, you know, a vital organ enough that may have been heavy enough to crush, you know, enough to maybe cause some instant death. But there is a version where just Carl's just having to, like, sit there, like, bleed out for, like, 20 minutes and Patrick Swayze just, like, waiting. I don't know if Patrick Swayze has to, like, find another shard of glass and, like, try to finish off Carl at some point. But, yeah, we get Carl's ghostly form pretty quickly here, right after the end times. So Patrick Swayze, again, you know, able to avenge both deaths. Apparently one death in real life, you know, 2 avenges per death. I don't know, if Patrick Swayze goes into a third avenge, then is it, you know, if there's a third person involved, I guess, does he get to do it? You know? Does Patrick Swayze get to go full Denzel Man on Fire if it's like a whole ring of people involved in his death? But since it's just 2 people, that's all he's allowed to avenge. I don't know, but they take him away, chat. Carl's going to the bad place. Poor Carl. I don't know if this one, you know, I don't know if there's mobility in this. We don't know the full dynamics of the 1990 Ghost Afterlife situation. But we know Willie Lopez and Carl will not be joining Patrick Swayze. That's for sure, unfortunately. So, and we know that Demi Moore will be joining him at some point. And Oda Mae as well, too. You know, does he get to, like, continue to communicate through Oda Mae Brown as well? I don't know. But, you know, maybe the ending of this movie as well, I don't know. Obviously, there's a way we could stretch this out into IP or a number 2 or something. But it is a start to finish story as well. Like, you know, you get Patrick Swayze going off into the sunset at the end after his mission complete. So, again, you do have Oda Mae Brown. You do have Molly Jensen. But, you know, even both of your people company that are corrupt are dead as well, too. And both the people that connect Molly and Whoopi Goldberg to the company are dead. So it would have to be an immediate, like, oh, you know, their tracks